How do I do that?
Okay. I'd assume you just go to YouTube.
Ah, believe. Oh my god.
I can't see.
I can't see. Oh my gosh, we're live.
We are
How do I do
live.
that? Oh god.
Oh, you can turn the sound off. That'd be great.
I'm on full volume.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna actually put
believe.
this over here on my screen. Dude, I can't see. Put this over here. Go to this. I clicking things that I probably shouldn't be. Okay, there we go. Mute that. Close that. Look at that. There we go.
Look at you go. Well,
Okay,
what?
hang on one second. Well, that's worse.
Why don't you just tuck it? I don't
Tuck it in
understand.
my glasses? What do you mean?
Like, I don't know, get a
Because
bobby
he
pin
goes
or
like
something.
this. He's like out in front of his nose.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you don't have to be.
I am Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay. Excuse me. My
All right.
goodness.
All right. Now you're in my eye. Okay. Well.
Howdy there, partner. How are you doing now?
Oh, you know, doing pretty good
Sorry.
there. That there hair's making me angry. Wow, that is a bright screen on you.
It was so bright.
Oh
I
man.
believe.
All right. Well, I guess we could probably start and then go from there, right? I don't know how things work, so.
Here until the end of the night.
All right. Welcome to No Impulse Control Live. This is episode
Halloween
40,
episode.
which is
40,
awesome.
some might also say.
Well, you know, some could, but I am saying 40.
Sorry.
That was so aggressive.
I have noodles in my throat still.
That sounds like a code for something.
It does. Didn't mean it like that.
You bippity
Aren't
boppity
you-
booing me.
Aren't you so happy that I have a new fidget?
No, actually. I'm glad that you have a fidget, but like, now you can swing that thing around in my face, and I want to.
I'll bring the lamp up to myself like a medieval.
Person?
Mm-hmm. And bippity boppy bitch you all the way back home. I'm sorry, I'm off my game. Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is your first live on YouTube, so like, it makes
Hi, Darcy. Hello again. It's my first live on YouTube. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my god,
yeah,
it's hotter than holy hell in here. Woo!
Welcome back to No Impulse Control, and I'm Justin.
Oh, I'm Jasmine. Sorry, I took my headphones off.
We didn't introduce at all.
No, they've totally never seen us before.
Well, I mean, some people might come in and not know. You never know.
Hello, welcome. How are you?
This is not my real hair. This is not her real hair, I promise. Mainly for me, because like,
so rude.
I couldn't pull this off, I don't think.
I gotta turn the light on because it's way too dark. I'm gonna wait till we get to the spooky
nose.
stories. Ready? The sun!
Blind.
Blinded by the light. Fix yourself. Fix yourself light. Oh, it's
Fix
working.
yourself light.
So this is Justin. I am Jasmine. This is Wallace. Welcome, Wallace.
I think I don't remember what he was named.
Wow.
Well, it was only like 3 people that offered it. I'm just gonna say
Jasmine could rock it. Jasmine could rock it. Jasmine will not be rocking it. You already tried short hair. Sorry, I'm reading comments.
I see it. You're good.
You tried the short hair for me, Darcy, and I'm good. I saw how much of a pain in the ass it was to. Sorry, am I not supposed to swear on live?
I don't think we're supposed to talk about deceased things, which one of my stories has.
Mine too. Actually, I've got a couple of really like funky ones.
Hoosiers.
Any Hoosiers?
Any Hoosiers? Can you see how many people are watching?
Yes, I can. There are 4.
Oh, there are 4.
There are 4.
So weird. Where do you see it? Oh, I see it. Hello.
Justin should not rock it as his wife. As his friend, I agree. Justin should not rock that hairstyle.
That is just wildly.
Do you know? I know Connor is not watching this, but like, do you know? Do you know when Connor has his long hair, his curls? That's what that looks like. Where he gets. Hold on, I gotta show you. Keep talking. Do your thing. I was talking.
I wasn't talking. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
start
all you.
talking.
So yeah, episode 40. This is our 40th episode. We're getting to up in the numbers. It's kind of exciting. I think there was a deal, something along the lines of like, I don't remember what I made a deal about, but at 50, if we
Don't
hit
you
a
even
certain
worry
amount,
about it.
oh, you have
I
it
got
written
it.
down. Nice. Okay.
Subscribers for our 50th episode, Nails, when we get to 75 followers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to show like his whole thing, but like his curly hair. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, it's a little
It's
more like pulled back. Like,
well, that's just his hairline.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just didn't want to be mean about it.
No, you can be mean. Be mean. It's okay. He's at a concert. He abandoned me on Halloween. This is the 4th year in a row I've been abandoned on Halloween. 3rd year. 3rd year in a row.
Really? What'd you
Yeah.
do last Halloween?
I didn't. I sat in my bed and cried.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, we haven't discussed the elephant in the room. What are you and what am I?
I am the fairy godmother from Shrek. My whole classroom did Shrek as the theme this year, and we knocked it out of the park. We got Justin, you're decently quieter than Jasmine.
Decently quieter?
You are quieter than. Oh, we can see the comments on Riverside.
Can we? Where? Oh, it's in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat. This is our first time doing it this way. That's kind of dope. I kind of vibe with that.
I can't see anything right now, but
well,
yeah,
that's,
I do too.
Words and stuff. So I'm fairy godmother. We won a pizza party because our costume was voted most creative by a group of judges that came and took our pictures. It may also be just that I'm so loud. Yeah, significantly.
Okay. It was just my mic was super far away from my face, I guess.
Well, how dare you?
I will just yell into the mic now.
You always do.
I do not. Somebody else in this
Whoa,
little...
hey.
Yeah.
What's your first story?
I also have a costume on.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Rude of you not to, set me up like that, but it's all right. You'll get there. Okay, chill. Oh my gosh. I said enough.
That one hurt.
So I am Napoleon Dynamite, and if you haven't seen the movie, it's from 2004. It's a cult classic. Love it. Jasmine has never seen it, which makes me kind of sad.
Shrek is also a cult classic.
I agree. Shrek is also a lot more known, whereas Napoleon is not. Man, what?
Mine is older than yours.
Yeah, Shrek came out in what? 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
That's a little much.
But Fairy Godmother wasn't introduced until the second Shrek. Because the first Shrek it was about. I think it was the second. Research.
I'm looking it up. Research. Get into Shrek. That sounds bad. Shrek 2. Shrek 2 release date was 2004, so same movie. Oh god. I don't know that I don't know about y'all. You all watching here. But I've been wearing this wig all day, and I am about ready to start some fires. Just in my personal. Just if you're wondering how I'm feeling about wearing a wig. I really truly hate it.
That's so fair. I also
I truly hate this experience.
I won't be starting any fires. I agree. Wigs suck. Not for me. One of my kids suggested I get a toupee today.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, kid. Rude of you to say that.
I also had a kid. Sorry. You go. I just want to show you a funny picture in a moment.
I had a kid also say that. Well, I had multiple kids say that I look like different things. Did you have any kids say you didn't look like Fairy Godmother?
A couple kids asked me if I was the Tooth Fairy, even though the rest of my team was Shrek.
Fair.
Yeah. And then one kid said what do you mean you're the fairy godmother? Oh, you mean that old ugly lady? And I said,
That's a dot.
bop. No, I didn't bop any kids. I called this my beating stick accidentally as the kids were coming in for morning meeting or for like breakfast, like at 8 a.m. And I was like fake hitting a staff member, and I was like, "It's my beating stick." And then one of the kids was like, "Why do you have a beating stick?" And I was like,
I don't. It's a
My
wand.
bad. Can I show you this picture that my husband just sent me? This is for everybody to see. So there, my husband and his mom are down in Boston at a concert, and they just sent me a selfie. But this fine specimen is in the background of their selfie.
What? Who? Why?
Don't know, but she's staring into the camera, followed by her husband staring into the abyss. And I saw that, and it was, I just thought that was cute. Man, I love being live, so we can't edit anything at all.
As if we edit anything.
No,
Let's be real
here. We don't edit anything, but anyway.
So I don't know. Yeah, I was called a couple of different things. One was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I can see it.
I mean, yeah, fair. I get it. The glasses and the new age kids, they don't know who my guy is. Their Napoleon Dynamite is, but the other one, which
my
is
guy,
probably,
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, me and Napoleon go way back.
back Do you now?
6. Napoleon Dynamite. Get your.
We got this.
But I also was called a blonde Ice Spice.
What's an Ice Spice?
You mean who is Ice Spice?
Who's Ice Spice? Oh.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not that, so move on. And then I was called it again. And then again and again. So then about the 4th time that I was called it, I went, oh, thank you. Just to kind of like move on.
Oh, because, thank you.
I don't know. In my head, it was I explained it as, oh, you're complimenting me because Ice Spice is, popular or whatever. And so I went with it. Yeah, hair in the mouth. But yeah, so there was that. Who you talking to, Jasmine?
I'm posting on our Instagram. I was just mouth open because of the hair in the mouth.
Yeah, I don't deal with hair. Hair is not for me. I go bald.
Are you excited to be out of your costume tomorrow or tonight when we're done recording?
I would love to not be in my costume, but also I would love to not have, what's the word I'm looking for?
Hair?
Well, that too, yeah. Not have school tomorrow is more what I was thinking.
Oh, but, yeah. No. Well, you could have come down here and not at school. That's fine.
I have a game tomorrow, so no, I could
have. Do you have to be there?
Yes, I do. Playoffs, paid, all that stuff. Yeah. So, candy.
I don't have any candy. We don't get trick-or-treaters.
Oh, we didn't buy candy for the trick-or-treaters. Darcy just brought it home. I have candy now.
So it's for you.
Yeah.
Love that.
Trick-or-treaters. Oh. I negotiated a PJ day tomorrow and at work to make up for today. Now that's super smart.
What?
Darcy, in the comments. Come on, Jasmine. Get on your game.
I'm trying to upload! Okay, I think I uploaded it. I think it's fine. It's not uploading. If anyone sees it, let me know. Oh, it says uploading. If I just...
I think Nana is here as well. I think she's on.
Hi, Nana!
She said she couldn't find the comments, and I'm not really sure what it looks like as a viewer. But I'm assuming it's down below the
You just click on the comments just like normal.
Oh, so like
just like a normal video, yeah. Yep. Just like a normal video. Okay, I hit cancel upload and it uploaded, so enjoy that.
Didn't you want to upload?
I did, but then it wasn't uploading, so I said to stop so that it was like, anyway, it's a whole thing, but
If anybody ever wonders what our like conversations look like, it's this.
what it sounds like after we finish recording, where I'm like, it's not uploading! Anyways, how was your day other than, your kids not knowing who you were?
Um,
How
it
was
was
your
pretty
Halloween?
good. I ended up doing very little work. I had a quiz for first
Mm.
period because middle schoolers we were talking about the most scary topic in health for middle school.
The penis.
Well, that and the vagina and puberty. Yeah, I know,
Gasp.
crazy. And then I did the quiz, and then I brought them to the gym and figured out that it was what was it? One of the
Hi, Nana!
um,
Sorry. She's in the comments.
hi Nana. Figured out why Tatlock gets upset about the 7th graders in gym because they don't do anything. They stand there,
Mm.
and yeah, so it's a
I
little.
feel like that's a 7th
frustrating.
grade thing.
It could be.
Like, I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't fully know, but like this specific group, like majority of them just stand there, and it's kind of wild.
Hey, Mr. B, welcome in. Welcome in.
Mr. B.
Welcome to the podcast. I don't know
Thank you.
if you've commented before on the podcast, Mr. B, so
Appreciate it.
welcome.
I appreciate it. I am
Big preach.
I'm glad that you understood who Napoleon was, because
Okay.
some people here don't. But
I feel like I got the movie right.
Well,
I
yeah,
asked you this morning if I got the movie right, and you said
You
I can neither confirm nor deny, like some kind of
because I
whatever.
wanted it to be a surprise. It was all about the reaction.
Mine wasn't a surprise.
Yeah, I know, because you sent a picture.
Did you send me that? Oh, yes, you did. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to clear things so my phone doesn't blow up. In a moment, it's the old MacBook noise where it was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone's about to start doing that. It's hot in here.
Hot in.
It's getting hot in here.
But yeah,
Going to
so
cry.
my day was okay. I did end up doing a movie for 2nd period, and then I brought the kids to the gym again for 4th period
Why?
to combine. I have upperclassmen, she has like freshmen, so it was kind of like
Fair enough.
maybe they can show them how to mature.
How'd that go?
But it was there in the movie.
Hey, so as a viewer, just for future, both of our videos are pretty fuzzy.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's going from point A to point B to trying to stream on point B and not point A, and it's a whole thing.
All right, I just wanted to let you know that going forward.
I still get the reference.
My day was good, by the way.
Good. Mr. B, I just want to make sure we're not ignoring if we don't do the comments or respond, because I see Mr. B. I also I want to make sure, well, that too. I want to make sure it's very clear. I am not wearing my glasses. These are not prescription, so I cannot see.
These
sound
are
like an
not
old person.
prescription.
But yeah, I
almost had to get
understand
fake
because it's like a
ones.
bunch of small skits. The movie is. So
Oh. I don't know that I would like that. Does the hair have a red tint to it, or is it blonde?
It's like a blondish red brown. I don't know. So it's a
strawberry blonde.
Close, I guess. Yeah.
Your day sounds more fun than mine. All I did was talk about that word and holes in the graph. I probably knew that word in high school, but
asymptotes.
I don't think you're the one to try.
I'm gonna though.
Asymptotes. I'm looking it up.
Asymptote. Nope.
Asymptotes. Asymptote.
What? Pardon?
Asymptote. It doesn't even give the option for pronunciation. Asymptotes.
It sounds like you're starting to try to hit on somebody.
Asymptotes.
Yeah, because that helps me.
I've never seen that word written ever. I can probably confirm you did know that word in high school. I definitely did. Never seen that word written a day in my life, so I probably did. High school
Probably did, and then just like blocked it out. Oh my gosh, I feel. Where are
Where
you?
are you? Now you actually know what our FaceTimes sound like. Actually,
Where
our
are
FaceTimes are
you?
generally pretty quiet for a
They're
while.
silent, or they have a little bit of like a
Some eating
sound to
noises.
it. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, a little bit eating
so
noises. Sam.
I don't know what those are, but yeah, that does not sound pleasant to me. I'll be honest. I'll be 100% with you.
Asymptotes.
Yeah, and holes in the graph. Holes in the graph kind of sounds like a song though.
It's like squirrels in my
Holes
pants.
in the yeah, or I was thinking like
Got holes in my graph. Sorry. I am very not
okay.
medicated. You don't know the song Squirrels in My Pants?
Yeah, I know the song. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, my hair.
Dude,
How do
you
people
look like
do
me.
it?
They get bobby pins.
Probably just
Probably just
always
always-
abbreviated it.
Yeah, no, I definitely would have seen the abbreviations. And if you look at my high school notebooks, it's mostly doodles and some notes where I just went ask about whatever, because I did not understand, and I am bad at asking for help. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I have Nana actually brought this up, and I did a little research, not a whole lot. Oh, okay. Yes, Jasmine in the back.
I have a question. I have a question back here. I got a
Yes,
question.
Jasmine, yeah,
I'm going to extend my arm
sorry.
with my
Yes,
wand.
fairy godmother. Fairy godmother. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
So, gosh. So, do we want to explain to the people what we're doing? Because you were just jumping in.
I mean, we could.
I was just gonna explain that we were gonna do some spooky stories. And we had researched and located, and I don't. You just felt like you were just jumping in.
Okay.
The Good Witch from the Wizard of Oz, Nana. Thank you. That is so sweet.
That is so sweet.
That is so sweet. Thank you. You're
Speaking
the
of a
nicest
spooky,
one.
scary story here, this is not to cut you off, but it is going to cut you off.
It's fine. Your turn.
Dark.
We should start doing that more often.
Darcy just kind of jumped me because she is also in my
Very
house.
good at that.
Yep. But she isn't in the room. But I heard your voice outside of my door as she walked by, and that just kind of jumped me a little bit.
Surprise! I'm at your house. I just brought a portable backdrop with me. That's what this is. That's actually my car light.
And then
Special delivery.
I have bobby pins now.
Do you know how to use them?
No. All right, I got this.
It's pretty self-explanatory. You put the hair
Bobby pin. Yeah, I got you. Bobby and pin. I get it. I got you.
Okay.
You said self-explanatory.
Yeah, I want to watch this
up here and like
nope.
go like this. Boom. Used.
And abused. Yeah.
I did it.
Did it help?
No.
There you go.
I gotta find it now. Oh, there is my wife's hands. Well, now I'm gonna feel like a weirdo because now. No, thank you. I do not. I'll just keep messing with my own hair.
Mine just keeps. I don't know if you guys can see. It's like lifting up in the back. So I didn't want to do like. I didn't want to do like a full costume for this, so I'm wearing my leggings and socks. I just want to show the people. Can you see my bun? If I turn around like this?
Yes, we can see your bun. Not
the... It wasn't like this all day. I looked a lot better. But for this episode, I took everything off at home or at work because and then I had to put it all back on for this episode because Mama didn't raise no quitter. Also, Mom, where are you? Where are you?
Where are you?
I'm gonna text them and tell them that I'm live.
I don't like this.
Keep you. What are you doing?
Trying to put my headphone on where it doesn't make my hair look weird. All right, that's not bad. Anyways, so yeah, today Jasmine and I did some research. We found a couple of stories that we thought were kind of spooky and wanted to share them with y'all, give our inputs, see what y'all thought about them. We didn't really decide how long this was gonna be.
We did not. Sorry, I was reading Mr. B's comment. I do remember that. That was hilarious. I actually was just talking to one of my kids who showed up in a white t-shirt and white pants. And he said, I'm a white guy. And that it sent me and it reminded me of that beige man thing. I do remember that. I wonder if Connor remembers that. I'm going to ask him. Probably
The
not.
defender of all the things naturally colored. I
Mhm,
love that.
mhm. Yes. Mhm.
Well,
All right.
Tim, if you're here, we appreciate
Where
it.
are you?
Yeah, where are you? That's gonna be all night. Just a heads
All
up.
night.
But
Hey,
anyways,
be happy that it's not my Shrek music again. Count your blessings.
thanks, Wicked Witch of the East.
Fairy godmother, get your shit together.
Bippity boppity, bam! Yeah, you whacked us. That's very rude of you to hit them. You know that, right? They're just here to
just-
watch you.
I texted my mom and my sister, and they are flat out ignoring me. I'm gonna send the link.
Just passively
Hey.
aggressive, like, "Hey, come watch this.
If you wanted
Anyways,
to support your daughter, keep
Your
going.
turn.
You're good. Your turn.
anyways, I will start with the first one. It's not super creepy, but it just hits a little home for me because Nana and I and Grampy and all of us had camps up at St. Croix Lake, which is a long ways away from where I am currently living. But great place, loved it there, a lot of great memories. But the camp is called Cry of the Lost Hunter Campground. And you
Okay.
can, buy places and stuff like that. And then I kind of posed the question of why, I wonder, is it called Cry of the Lost Hunter?
Mhm.
So I'd like to say great research. I did not. I couldn't find a whole lot, but I found what I could find. So what I found is that it's called that due to the local legend about a hunter who became lost in a remote area surrounding the lake, and he was never found. The stories that come with it
Okay.
is that sometimes people hear him crying, and
That's
it's
so
heard
sad.
echoing across the water, which is
Okay.
weird because the way that the camp is set up, it's like camp on one side and then a bunch of woods on the other. So like it would be, if there's somebody over there, you couldn't really see them, but you could definitely hear
Right.
them if they're loud enough. But the folklore is that when it becomes like stormy or foggy or eerie around the lake or on the lake, then
Okay.
you hear him more. And just to
Mhm,
add this random fact here, in French, Saint Freud is Saint Cold. So
Oh,
add a little fun thing there. So it does affect
we're
the
learning.
atmosphere a little bit there. So that is the background to the Cry of the
Background.
Lost Hunter.
I feel like I've heard that story before. Or I've heard of that story.
Maybe. I mean, I've never heard it. I mean, I probably have, but like
I
I
wonder if
never
it was
really
when I
like
was
brought it up.
researching.
But you could have.
Could have been.
It is kind of an old main
Kinda.
story.
Yeah,
Ah.
little old main one. I think my sister might have just joined. My mom and sister are here. Hi.
Oh,
I just got texted.
hey.
Hey. So did you have more that you wanted to add to yours?
No, that
Because
was it. That
mine
was the story.
is also a main legend for my first one.
Oh, I only got main stories. I want that to be very well known.
Was I supposed to do that?
No. That was not the requirement.
Perfect, because I was like, wait a second. Okay, so I gotta flip to my other tab. But my main story hails from
Woot woot.
kind of hails from the I'm just trying to get my tab open. My apologies. The Ellsworth area, specifically, actually, not the Ellsworth area. It's on the way to Ellsworth. Like you take that road when you're on the way to Ellsworth. but it is on Route 182. Have you ever heard of the Blackwoods Road?
Yes. Why do I know
Yes.
that road?
Because I'm about to tell you. So there is a theory. There is a story about a woman named Catherine. There's actually a mountain referred to as Catherine's Mountain and Catherine's Hill on Blackwoods Road, which is Route 182 between Franklin and Cherryfield. So just so you're kind of where you're at in the world, and they both talk about the same woman.
Ooh,
So
that
this
was weird.
woman, what?
Sorry, I got like wicked chills. My whole body like.
Oh, wild. Okay. So Catherine is this woman.
Catherine heard you.
Catherine was like, "What up, home slice?" So anyway, she's been around since 1860. And there's like a bunch of different stories. There's two like really big ones. The first one that I heard when I was in high school, um, when when I started high school and we would like drive whatever, the first one that I heard was that she was a bride, a newlywed, who was traveling with her husband. They were on their way to Bar Harbor to spend their honeymoon. Others have the story that she died on her prom night with her boyfriend. And there's a guy named Marcus Labrizzi, and he wrote like a big story on like a bunch of main whatevers. But anyway, he connects her story to a Model T Ford found at the bottom of a nearby Fox Pond. The story places her in that car with a companion, and that they were going way too fast and then just went off the road and ended up in the lake. So it's been passed around through generations, usually with this type of like ghosty storytelling, and sometimes it shifts between things. So either she was in a carriage or a car accident, which seems to change depending on when the story got told. So the lore, or like the thing about it, is that a lot of people have reportedly seen Catherine standing on the side of the road looking for her husband. She's in a white or blue dress. Her head is intact for some people. For other people, she's decapitated. She's just sort of like haunting the hill. But she stands on the side of the road. She flags you down and she asks for a ride. She's characterized with like long black hair, if she has a head, and a face that is both frightening but also beautiful. And then a lot of people have felt compelled to help her, but she disappears soon after entering the car. Some people have even said that when they've stopped to quote unquote help her because she looks like just like a pale woman on the side of the road, they stop to help her. She gets in and she's with them for miles before she just disappears. She doesn't respond to anything, whatever. But like it's just kind of creepy. And there's a story that if you don't stop for her, she'll haunt you and she'll like make you crash your car or get like deathly ill on the way to your location or whatever. And that she only saves people who help her, which is just kind of sad. Another story got brought up a while ago that a salesman saw her headless form and was so scared he continued driving. But she appeared in the back seat anyway. He then lost control of his car and was killed. Even though he kind of drove past her. And there's like a haunted drive that people do through 182 in the night. I just saw Mr. B's comment, the Blackwoods Road. Everyone refused to drive on it at night. I did not know this when I drove on it at night to Bangor. And I'm gonna inject my own little spiel here. I don't think that I saw Catherine. I do think that I saw some motherfucker on the side of the road. I didn't stop for the person. Sorry, that was so aggressive. Why are your hands up?
do it.
I'm so sorry. No, I saw somebody on the side of the road and they looked like they needed help, and it was dark and weird and foggy and gross, and I pulled over because I'm dumb, but I pulled over to like see what they needed, and then they were gone. I don't know. Maybe it was Catherine. If it is, homegirl, hope you're doing good. I'm really sorry about your tragic end of life.
So I remember, I mean, we heard about this in the county. I remember watching the news, which scared the crap out of me, by the way. I was a kid, but like it scared the crap out of me that there was this like random like girl on the side of the road that nobody really knew what the situation was.
Right.
Yeah, that scared me a lot. But like, and then there was, do you remember, it went around for a while, but there was a video of, it was in Maine, I know that much, but there was a video of like somebody pulling over, and in the front like window, there was
Yes!
a person.
Yes, I
But
do
as soon
remember
as they
that.
got
Yes.
to the passenger window, they were gone.
Yes.
That literally, I'm feeling like tingly right now. Like that
Well-
gives me chills.
Do you remember when maybe she was hanging out down here with us? Do you remember like 3 or 4 a while ago when Connor and I encountered that thing as we were
Yeah.
driving home? Mom
Yep.
and Rosemary, they're gonna counteract me, and I know they're in here, and they're gonna say that didn't happen, and it was just a crazy person, and I'm gonna say you're wrong, and you don't know what you're talking about because I saw a cryptid, and I am going to my grave believing that I saw something haunted that night. For those of you who don't know, who like this is your first time encountering, hey, how are you? How welcome.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming in. No, so Connor and I were driving really late night home. Did you want me to pause this story so you can do your next one, or are you okay if I go?
You're good. You're good.
Okay, so we were
Go with
driving
the
home. I
flow.
was asleep. We were coming back from a magic night. We do like monthly or every other month or whatever nights where we go play Magic the Gathering with some friends in New Hampshire, and we come home. So we're driving home, and we're coming around this corner by, if anyone knows it, the Poland Spring. Rosemary is giving me the face, and I'm telling you right now, Rosemary Corkins, I am being so for real when I tell you this story, okay? Don't even with your selfies. We're driving, and there's Poland Springs Road by where our house is, and it's like really windy. So we're coming around one of the corners, and all of a sudden, there's a for sale sign. All of a sudden, one of these like for sale signs had something behind it. And this very tall, I've got a RAV4, it's not lifted or anything, but it's RAV4, very tall creature who was taller than my car, booked it across the road at full freaking speed. Connor slams on the brakes. I woke up from something else a second before, and I just sort of like clearing my eyes. I'm not really super awake. And I see this thing sprint. And Connor goes, "What the hell was that?" And I was like, "What's happening? What's going on?" Because because like it's so bizarre. And I was like, "It must have been a deer." And Connor was like, "It clearly was not a
bizarre?
deer. It was on 2 legs with these like gangly arms, and it was sprinting across the road. It was so weird. It was not a moose, Mom. Moose don't run on 2 legs. With all the love in the world, I will die on this hill. Moose don't run on 2 legs." I'm getting chatted in Messenger right now.
I
It was on.
That's what I was expecting.
I'm standing. Okay, I'm gonna show you. You have to watch. Mom, pay attention.
Ma, pay attention.
Everyone, pay attention. It ran like this across the road with its long arms. Get a centaur, Mom. Be for real. This is a real life tragedy.
It could be a centaur. Is it like honestly?
Oh, it could it? Running
I
on 2
mean-
legs? 2 legs? I didn't say
Don't they
that.
have
Like
like the goat ones? Aren't those centaurs? No, centaurs are
those
the
are
horses.
satyrs.
Satyrs. That's what I was.
Yeah, those are
thinking.
satyrs. I don't
But
know
the
that we have
centaurs are
satyrs in
horses,
Maine.
right? You
It's
never
a-
know.
It's a centaur is a horse body with a human torso. Anyway, it ran across the road, and it just like there was a. Do you know when you see something kind of creepy and there's a feeling in your stomach and it makes you kind of nauseous?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Connor and I felt the entire way home. This thing was pure white, not like white people's skin that's like pinky or bluey. It was white, like your shirt.
Hmm.
And when our headlights hit it, it wasn't like reflecting anything. It was just white. And it was fast. And I said, "We should stop and go look." And Connor said, "We're going home." Which is just whatever. So now every time that he's driving to work, I get the text that says he's going to check for, he's driving by to see, "Oh my God, nope, stop. Sorry, Mom and Rosemary, ignore me. Ignore my call. Ignore my call, my B."
Look, watch yourself now, Noah. I see you. I see you.
All
You
right.
know. All right. You know what, Noah? You want to fight? All right. Here we go. Listen to this, Jasmine. I'm not trying to cut you off, but like,
No, that's
I gotta,
fine. I'm
I gotta
done.
out-
I'm gonna get too heated. I know
I
what my
gotta out
mom and
him
sister
right
are gonna
now.
say, and we're fine. It's fine. Uncle thought the witch would make him younger.
Oh, I don't know what werewolves of Palmyra. I don't know that one. Anyways, let me
Palmyra.
just
I'm
get
looking
this
it
story
up.
out. So Noah, he's one of my coworkers. He literally last night I texted him saying I was going to get. I thought the cat got in here. That scared I texted him saying I was going to get a costume. He texted back and was like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to Walmart now to get one too." He was gonna get one of the banana costumes. Cool, no problem. Do your thing. And this guy,
This
goes-
guy.
he texts me. He says they didn't have any banana costumes, so I'm gonna use a robe, like a Harry Potter robe tomorrow, and I'll be whatever. I'll be from Hogwarts. This guy shows up today with no costume on. And he texted me, had the gall
The goal!
to text me.
Pull out goal!
To text me this morning and say, "Are you still wearing your costume?" As if I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course I am. Like, you must be too." And I said, "Of course." And then he didn't respond. And I show up and he shows up and he has no costume on. You can hold your unk. Unk is mad.
It's bad.
Unk smash. Oh man.
Yeah.
A bunch
All
of
right.
us wanted to build werewolf commander.
I commend you for that. The werewolf deck sounds great. Y'all have fun with that. I would not be doing that. I just looked it up. It looks kind of creepy. Chill out, Unk. I was
Damn.
simply too ripped for my robe. Yeah, it's a problem in Hogwarts. I fear. Sorry, I'm in the mood today.
The magic was
Mom?
too strong.
Magic was too strong. Too beefy magic. Hey, sad news, everybody. My laminator is out of order at work.
That is kind of sad.
R.I.P.
I would
I have a
honestly, Mr.
lot
B,
to
like I'd
laminate
be
tomorrow.
down to do something like that. I've always liked. There's always been a part of me that's like interested in that kind of stuff. I am scared, but I love it. Why are you
Do
giving
you
me that
mean-
look? You
do
just said
you-
no. I'm
do
good
you-
to go.
Do you mean pause?
Don't you dare!
Bippity boppity silent. Do you mean that you would want to go play magic out in the woods, or just do the like go out in the woods?
I'd
I'd
like
like-
stay out in the woods on like in Palmyra.
Palmyra.
Yeah, that and like do the stay there. I wouldn't.
Oh,
do
okay.
Oh, I didn't read that right. He was building
I
a
know.
deck.
Yeah.
I would be there for the haunted and less about the
Mhm.
magic.
Well, when you said that, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I've been trying to get you into this for like 3 or 4 months now,
Yeah.
and you're like, "No, I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it." One day you'll join us.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Yeah.
Noah, you
Mhm.
too ripped. I get it. I understand. But also, anyways, next story, if you would like.
No, I'm gonna let you go next because I've just told 3.
That's what I was saying.
2 and a
I'll go
half.
next story.
Oh yeah.
Will you?
Oh my
Okay,
God.
You know what? That is enough out of you. Okay.
Hey, Mom, just read your comment. Wild. I don't think
Okay.
that's what it was.
So this story, I'm reading it because I don't remember well. So this
Oh,
story
dear.
is titled, "What is the scariest story ever heard? Fictionally or true account?" And I read that wrong. Fictional or true account. Mute your mic.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I literally am looking at it muted.
Oh, we can hear you just fine. It's I bet it's coming through your headset.
I can't switch mics while I'm recording.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna leave and come back. I can't switch to my mic.
Don't. Why? Oh.
It's not letting me switch anything at the moment. I'm like
Well, I don't
completely.
know if you leave if it'll stay, but anyways.
Want me to try? I'm gonna try.
Oh, great. Okay.
Recording will continue without you.
Oh, cool. Well, I guess since she's gone for a second, we have merch. TSK1239. Or just kidding. The Soccer King 1239.com. It'll this is my new favorite shut up comment. You bring it to I see you. Hi. It'll bring you to my website. You go over to merch and it'll drop down. You can go to the No Impulse Controls tab and we have a bunch of merch that you can get. So more than welcome to get it if you want to.
My apologies for the throat clearing, guys.
Oh, look.
My throat was so itchy.
You're a lot more
Um,
quiet now.
God,
Just bring it closer to you.
I can't. It's run out of.
Oh, your cord.
How is this?
That's good. Yeah.
That's like literally right under my chin.
Mm.
And I
Uh,
schmuck too much for that.
Mr. B says bippity boppity silent is his new favorite shut up comment. So
Thank you,
those
thank you.
kids that he teaches, don't be surprised if that's when will pull it out. Heard it's I my goodness, I can't read.
Oh, good. I'm so excited for you to read this story.
Yeah, I heard something too.
Yeah, that was
What
me
did you hear?
clearing my throat.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that was her
Nope, you can leave it.
interpretation of pterodactyl.
It's me itching my throat.
Okay. Anyways, Mom, I have the same glasses that you did when you were a kid. You're muted now. Okay.
I'm working on it. Wallace and I are working on it.
I'm sorry, my bad. All right. Anyways, what's the scariest story ever heard? This is
The
from
rent
a
prices.
person that is answering anonymously. But here it goes. My uncle told me a story. His personal experience with a friend, Ronnie. One day, Ronnie was browsing the internet. He read a story about a certain suspicious bridge that was located close to his home. The website had plenty of pictures of the bridge and the area surrounding it. The next time he met my uncle, he told him about the bridge. It was an old suspicious. Yeah.
Suspicious.
I think actually it says suspension because I can't read. Suspension bridge, so it's hanging.
Yes. Suspension bridge, Justin.
Bridge that crossed over a deep gorge. For some unknown reason, it was known as a spot that was notorious for people to attempt. I'm trying to stay away
To
from
jump.
using the word. Yeah, jump. And yeah. But every year, at least 5 to 10 people would jump off of the bridge and not survive. Nobody could explain why. They said that the spot was haunted by the ghosts of all the people who had jumped. And when my uncle went home that evening, he decided that he had to check out the bridge. He desperately wanted to see a ghost. So that very night, he sat out on the mountains where the bridge was located, and it took him about half an hour to get there. It was almost midnight when he arrived at the bridge, and there was not a single person around. It was dark and deathly quiet. Interesting worded there. The atmosphere was so spooky and ominous that it sent chills down his spine. In quotations, people just fool others about this place. He muttered to himself as he cautiously walked to the edge of the gorge and peered down into the depths. He began thinking about all the people who had jumped down into the inky blackness.
I don't
It
like
was so
that.
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
like that
either.
at all.
It was so fascinating that he felt forced to tell his friend Ronnie about it. So he pulled out his cell phone and called him. However, since he was high up on the mountains, he couldn't get any reception. Looking around, my uncle, where did I go? I scrolled too far. Looking around, my uncle noticed a phone booth standing nearby. Weird. He went
Yeah, a
inside,
little weird.
put some coins in the slot, and dialed Ronnie's number. Hello, Ronnie? Guess who's speaking? He said, I'm at the bridge that you told me about earlier. Why don't you join me tonight? It's so pleasant and quiet here. Why not? Ronnie replied. I have seen that place on Google. Wait there. As you can tell, I'm not a reader for those who don't know that. Wait there, I'm coming. By the way, where are you calling from? My uncle laughed. My phone is out of range, so I am calling from a payphone. His friend was confused. Payphone? There's no payphones there. If there was any, I would have seen it on the photos. Bullshit. There's a payphone on the way to the bridge. Now don't delay. There are people waiting outside for their turn. As soon as he said this to Ronnie, as this person typed this wrong. As soon as he said this, Ronnie shouted, "No, don't move from there. I know that place, and I am coming 15 minutes. Just stay inside the payphone and don't put the phone down."
I don't
What
like
happened?
that.
Just promise me you won't move from there. Whatever others say, just don't move from there. When his friend hung up, my uncle felt a wave of fear envelop him. He didn't put down his phone. and the people outside the booth were staring at him. They're looking into his eyes, sent shivers down my spine, or his spine. Mine too. 15 minutes later, when Ronnie arrived
Mine too.
at the suspension bridge, he found his friend standing at the very edge of the bridge. He was holding his cell phone against his ear. He had no clue what he was doing. There was no phone booth, no line of people waiting to use the phone. If he had moved an inch, he would have fallen off the edge and died. Oh,
Ah.
literal
Ah.
goosebumps. Literal goosebumps.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Oh, crow.
So is that you said that's a story set in Maine, right?
This one actually I don't think was set in Maine.
Oh, okay.
But it could be. Like, realistically, there are many suspension bridges around Maine, so
This is true.
why do I feel like you're describing the 2-cent bridge?
2-cent bridge.
I could very well
Waterville.
be describing it.
It's a suspension bridge in Waterville.
Is that a pretty common place for people to
Well,
jump?
you know what's so funny, Justin, is I actually don't know all the hot
Well, I wasn't
spots for
asking you.
jumpers.
Okay, Miss Sassy Pants McGee over there.
Yeah. So I have a couple. They're
just
from
gonna- Bump by this. Okay, cool.
no, it's making my body hurt. What do you mean bump by this? It's making my body hurt, Justin. I don't want to
agree.
talk about it.
So it's weird to me. Like, I'm imagining it as I'm reading it because I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
So like when I'm reading, I'm like imagining these things, and like I can see the picture in my head of what I just read.
Mhm.
No, thank you. I'm set.
I'm so okay.
I am good. But yeah, that's my story.
Okay.
And I'm not sticking to it, but that's my story. Where's the other one I had here?
So I have two. One's a part 1 and one's a part 2. But anyway, that's the whole thing. The one that I
Hello, Mom. By the way, I don't think I said that. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
To anybody else who's joined, hello.
Why are you not loading, Paige? Please. Well, we'll never know. Because my
world may
computer has
never
just
know.
decided to. Okay, so this is the part 1 of the story. I have not read it the whole way through. I just read part of it because we were starting. So just be aware of that. But have you heard of the Reddit page No Sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, you ever looked into it?
No.
So anyone who has ever watched our podcast knows that I get a lot of our story things from here. But there's a couple of pages on Reddit. I mean, also just a cesspool of things on Reddit. But there's a couple pages that are dedicated to like scary stories and stuff like that. Because like Reddit has all the subreddits of all the different things.
Mhm.
This one is No Sleep, which I've gone on to before when I just can't sleep or I'm like looking for something creepy. But it's why can't I read the thing? Anyway, it's scary stories that have happened to people, or some people do fictional work. If you want to share like real stories, you just need to make sure like they're plausible, or if fake stories, they just need to be plausible. Post must be a complete horror story. If they're series, you have to label them, like all those things, right? So like the normal Reddit stuff. But a lot of the stories on here are kind of like, they're not scary. They're just creepy enough to kind of make you go, okay, I'm all set. I
Mhm.
am, and this one is, the little bit that I read was just sort of like, ugh, it just bothered me. But it's called Count Your Windows Twice Every Night. I didn't. And it is a series, but we're not reading the whole series because who's got time for that? Your facial expression tells me everything I need to know about how excited you are to read this story.
So I'm not usually scared of, stories don't scare me.
Mhm,
I like
mhm.
listening to them. Like, they give me a little rush. When they become realistic, that's when I get
Mhm.
scared.
So I'm going to pause my own self. I'm interrupting myself. We were driving back from North Carolina, and I listened to like a murder podcast. It's called Morbid. They do like true crime and they report on the stories and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the episodes was set in New Jersey, New York, right in like where we were driving through, and then stuck in traffic. And part of the story was they were reading, or they were telling about how this guy who had just like, I think he had murdered somebody or was attempting to murder him. Anyway, I think he had just murdered somebody. But anyway, he was driving on the highway after leaving this like murder. And the only reason that they caught him was because he was trying to weave in and out of stop traffic. And
Mhm.
then we were in the same city, like the same area in stop traffic. And I was like, okay. I realized the story is from like 1970 something, but I am uncomfy. It's when they become realistic, they make my heart beat a little faster. Like when we watched Unfriended, it was such like a realistic story. Highly recommend if y'all haven't seen Unfriended, go watch that. It's
If you're
so
into
good.
spooky, scary stuff.
But it's not, yeah. It's not even just that it's scary. It's just that it's like so real. Like it could happen. So anyway, I want the tea. What was the costume?
How do I say this appropriately?
Ooh.
It
Any
was
just go for it.
it was a skeleton.
Oh dear.
So it was a black suit with a skeleton.
For
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
It was a male skeleton, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, it was a skeleton with a boner. Got it.
Yeah, yep. And
Yeah.
and that
You're a health
specific
teacher. You feel like you could have just explained it.
I try not to. I try not to announce that to the world.
That you're a
That
health
specific
teacher?
bone could be inflated or deflated. Hilarious, like absolutely so funny.
Is it though? At school, wild thing to come in.
So at school, he wore shorts or wore pants. He had to wear pants.
Good.
At practice, which was after school, he didn't have to wear pants, but he chose to because he's playing goal, and he also broke
he's playing
the
goal.
thing. He
broke the boner?
inflator. No, inflator. So he
Oh.
could not inflate it anymore.
Well, they
but
make
yeah.
pills for that.
Yep. There's the joke. Yep. Yeah.
How you're a health major, so I'm going to ask you this: how often
I'm
do
actually
you
a
hear
health
those
teacher.
types? Oh yeah, you graduated and you have a full-time job as of
I have a
4 years.
full 5 years.
You've got
actually.
a full
This is my
degree in
5th year.
that. Yeah, my bad. You're a health major.
Yeah.
That's what I used to say to Justin whenever I would have a medical question. Like, hey, is this a concussion or am I like Gucci to go play dodgeball?
And if I needed her, I would lie.
And say that it wasn't a concussion?
Exactly.
Yeah, you did, because we didn't win that game, but we had no subs. And then you took me to the hospital where I got a contusion. That's the real horror story. The Farmington hospital. The visible discomfort is real. With Justin, he's always visibly discomfortable.
Oh, yeah. No, fair.
Yeah. All right, so count your windows twice every night. So again, like I said, it's a series. I'm just going to read the first one. If y'all want the second one, I've got it loaded, but whatnot. Hello? 99 Math is emailing me. That's bizarre. Okay, I gotta make this bigger so I can see it. I got bad eyes.
Skeleton story almost. Yeah, I agree, Mr. B. That's like so true. It's really an uncomfortable story.
As a citizen, it's like, all right, funny enough, like yeah, ha ha ha, boner joke. But like as a teacher, if one of my kids walked in on that, like I don't know what I would say. I genuinely.
So he's
be like,
also a sophomore, yeah, and so like there was like an element of like you know what you're doing, but also at the same time
you can't buy that costume and not know what you're doing.
I agree. Well, I mean you could, but you'd have to be very ill-educated. I didn't use ill right, but oh well.
Child, I guess. Uneducated?
Uneducated, yeah. But he also came into my room to try to fix it, and that's when Noah came in, and then Tatlock came in, and then another kid came
the whole party.
Yeah, we had a part. It was my
Tell teacher it is
prep
applicable.
time.
And how did your prep go today?
Oh, my prep was actually hilarious. I laughed really hard because Talok, myself, and Noah made a bunch of jokes
Good.
at the expense of the costumes that our students were wearing. We
Mm.
weren't making fun of them, just the costumes.
Bullies!
No, he was laughing too.
Bullies!
But I also want to make it a point that this kid who has the skeleton costume,
Mhm.
he walked in, and then Woody from Toy Stories walked in. So
Now that's funny. Yes. Woody and dysfunctional Woody,
Anywhoosers.
yes. Sorry, I went silent so I could think of that joke.
Woody and dysfunctional Woody. My word. This is Nana is watching, Jasmine.
Hi, Nana. Nana has watched every week.
I
Nana
know she
knows,
has.
okay?
Oh man.
Anyway, so this story,
Okay,
I'm gonna
check
read
your
my
windows
story. Okay.
twice.
Tweck your windows twice. Check your windows.
Twack, twitty.
Check your windows twice every night. I didn't. It started with an innocent enough warning from the old man next door. He was a reclusive figure, always dressed in faded flannel and worn out boots, with gray stubble that covered most of his face like a second layer of skin. Nobody in the neighborhood ever spoke to him. What? What are
Talok.
you-
She was the first one that like started joking, and she's also 20 years experience. So
Mhm.
my
Oh, so-
5 years and
yeah.
his 1 year experience really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're like whoa.
Well,
Really
if
funny.
she's cracking jokes, y'all can crack jokes.
Exactly. That's kind of the way we went.
All right, I'm gonna keep reading. Nobody in the neighborhood ever spoke to him much, but when he saw me locking my door one evening, he shuffled over with a strange urgency in his eyes. I'm not going to read it in the voices because I've been doing that all day with my kids and I just don't have the energy. I can't do a raspy voice like he hadn't spoke to another human in days voice.
What does he say?
You live alone now, don't ya?
You live alone now, don't ya?
I guess
That's
I could
what
have
I'm
done that
imagining.
voice. Yeah, I replied, a bit uneasy but polite. Why? He leaned in close, his breath hot with the scent of whiskey. You better count your windows twice every night before bed. I went a little smoker, but it's fine. He said, his eyes narrowing. Make sure they're all closed, all locked. If you don't, well, let's just say it ain't good. I chuckled awkwardly, unsure if he was joking or just very drunk, and I said, sure, I'll do that. The old man's expression didn't change. I'm serious, kid. Count them twice, or they'll come in. I watched as he shuffled back to his house, a creeping unease settling in my gut. They'll come in? What did that even mean? But I shook off the rambling of a lonely old man with a little too much time and liquor on his hands. That night, as I wandered around my house before bed, I found myself thinking about his strange warning. I stood in front of the window. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be spooky times. My apologies, guys. I'm so bad at this.
She's a newbie. It's okay.
I don't know where it was. That night, as I wandered around my house before bed, I found myself thinking about a strange warning. I stood in front of the first window in my bedroom and closed it tightly, then the one in the kitchen. After a second of hesitation, I moved through the house, checking every window carefully, just as he had suggested. As I'm reading this, the window to my left, I'm not looking. The blinds are very open.
Oh, mine is too. That's why I literally looked back and was like,
Yikes. I can't see you, so I have no idea. I'm just trusting. I'm also just trusting that nobody comes into my house because I don't know if I locked my door. I really don't.
You did
After
not heed the warning.
Second of hesitation, I moved through the house, checking each window carefully, just as he had suggested. One in the bathroom, two in the living room, each of them shut and locked. When I reached the last one in the hallway, I counted again in my head. 5 windows, all sealed. It felt ridiculous, but I did it anyway, twice, just like he'd said. Nothing happened that night, of course, but over the next few days, I couldn't shake that feeling that something was just off. I noticed subtle things, a draft, even though all my windows were closed, strange sounds late at night, and most unsettling, a growing sense of just being watched. I didn't get to this part, so now I'm feeling icky. My closet door is also open, so I'm
Guess who's not sleeping tonight?
The next week, I came home late from work, exhausted, and forgot about that old man's warning. I just went straight to bed, my body too heavy with fatigue to bother checking the windows. I didn't even think about it until the middle of the night when I woke to a soft tapping sound. I'm gonna tap somewhere lightly. Just. At first, I thought it was rain, but the night was bone dry. The tapping grew louder,
Bone dry.
more insistent. My heart began to race as I sat up in bed listening. It was coming from the hall. Sorry, I'm tapping like I'm doing a read aloud at school because that's what I do when I'm reading aloud with the kids. As I approached,
It honestly, I'll before you continue, it
Yeah.
added a little
Oh, good,
something
good,
to
good,
it.
good, good, good.
My
Okay,
heart
cool.
literally was like, "We're dead." So
The tapping grew louder, more insistent. My heart began to race as I sat up in bed, just listening. It was coming from the hallway window, the last one I'd always checked. I hesitated, fear gripping me, but curiosity pulled me out of bed. As I
Dude, I'm
approached
gonna
the
throw
hallway, the tapping sound stopped abruptly, leaving behind an eerie silence. My pulse pounded in my ears. The window
Why
was
are you
closed, of
whispering at
course.
me?
I'm not whispering, I'm talking quietly for the effect. What is banging in my house? I don't like that.
Go check your windows. Check your windows quick.
I'm gonna. One moment. I'm
Oh
locking
my
my door.
gosh.
Hold on.
Oh man, I'm perplexed that some of the stories a bit tame, send chills, but yet horror movies that are incredibly vivid. Honestly, I don't get it. I think for me it's the stories I imagine them in my head, whereas like the movies, I don't have to imagine them. I'm seeing it. So it's like just a different way of like imagining or viewing. So like I'm making up the story in my
Hey.
head as she's reading, which makes it more intense. I think that's why it's
Oh, God.
like for me anyways, why it's so like upsetting.
I just sprinted through my house. Wow, this looks demonic. I didn't realize
Yeah.
how horrible this looked.
Did you check your windows?
All my windows are here and accounted for and locked. However, my
Your
door
door was not locked, was
not
it?
locked, open. Not like open. I just didn't fully close it. I deadbolted it. It was just not pressed closed.
Oh,
It was fine.
okay.
It was like no one could get in. I mean, it just like I saw it and I was like,
They're already in.
ah! You know what? If they're already in and they're just like hanging out listening to
They're
these
just
scary
waiting,
stories,
like-
that's hilarious. All right. That's Domino's. We're good.
Okay, could you
I'm like-
not scare me like this? I am an hour away. I can't do anything.
Yeah, Connor's in Boston.
Yeah, I know. Oh my
Sorry.
gosh, chill.
I need a little drinky
Good
drink.
lord, Jandis.
Good Lord, Janice. All right, I'm going back to my horror story. So, oh God, I read a little bit further. I'm really sorry. Okay, so the tapping grew louder, more. So we already read that. Sorry.
She got
Like-
out there and it got to an eerie silence.
He got out there, but yes.
Oh, I'm imagining she.
Oh, because I'm reading it. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. My pulse pounded in my ears. The window was closed,
hate
of
you.
course. What?
You get instantly. My pulse pounded in my ears.
Yeah, no, listen. You ready? This is how I read to my kids. Like I do I pull out all the stops. Okay. My pulse pounded in my ears. The window was closed. Of course it was. But as I reached for the lock, I saw it. A handprint on the glass. Not mine. Something else. Something that shouldn't be there. I stumbled back, my breath catching in my throat. The handprint too large, too distorted. It pressed against the glass from the outside as though something had been watching me. Frantic, I ran through the house, checking every window, counting them twice, just like the old man had warned. But the windows were all closed, all locked. Yet the feeling that something was wrong persisted stronger than ever. The next night, I made sure to check the windows before bed, counting each one meticulously. 5 windows twice, then I slept. But the tapping came again, this time louder, faster. It wasn't just one window either, it was all of them. A frantic, rhythmic tapping from every room surrounding me. I leapt out of bed, my body trembling with fear. The windows, they were all shut, yet the tapping wouldn't stop. I backed into the center of the living room, cold sweat trickling down my spine, and that's when I saw it. The shadow moving just outside the glass. a figure tall and lanky with impossibly long limbs and a face that seemed to shift and warp under dim moonlight. It pressed against the window, its grotesque face turning slowly toward me. Eyes, if you could even call them that, met mine, hollow and hungry. The tapping stopped, but the window began to creak. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen in terror, but eventually the figure melted back into the darkness, leaving me shaken and breathless. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night.
Of
The
course
next
not.
morning,
Who would?
well, hold on. The next morning, I rushed to the old man's house, desperate for answers, but when I knocked, there was no response. The neighbor told me he passed away 3 days ago, right around the time the tapping started. Now I count my windows twice every night. I don't forget anymore because I know they're still out there waiting, and if I slip up again, they'll come in. The end. I'm assuming Darcy is not in here right now listening to the horror stories. I'm gonna be honest. I can't picture it. If she is, my bad.
Well, I just keep hearing like things. I can't really hear because I have both headphones on. You can't really tell, but I have both headphones on.
Hmm.
I'm just imagining her sitting outside the door right now. That's where I'm at. I'm thinking she said.
Yep. No, I have the chills.
Yeah, that one was
I
good. That was.
thank you.
Ugh.
It also helps how you read it too.
Hey, thanks, Dad.
Did your dad text you? Hey, hi Travis.
We're here telling scary stories, so if you're
Ooh.
down.
I'm gonna look at part 2 right now.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't like that one. That one.
seems like OCD in story form. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. Can you see my window,
Hmm.
Jasmine?
My mom says nice job. Thank you, mommy. No, I can't.
Okay,
But
so
I live
right
in that room
off
when I
of
come see
yeah,
you.
right off my
Mhm,
camera, there's a window, and I have 2 windows, and there's a roof
He
outside of
knows
that
that
window.
now. He
And
counted them twice.
I did, and outside of that window, one of the windows curtains or shades are shut. Not really worried about it. The closer one to me is wide open, and
Mm-hmm.
I am a little bit nervous to get up and go over to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mine is also wide open, and I'm just looking because mine just got work done, so there are handprints.
Nice.
But it's fine. It's fine.
I also don't know if mine's locked. That's what makes me real nervous.
Go
I
lock
think
it,
it is.
Justin. Well, they're already in.
Not yet. I haven't slept. Any hooser. Now that Jasmine nailed the story, and I have to follow that up with my terrible ability to read.
Keep in mind, I do this every day. Like,
Yeah, I don't. I make the kids read for me because I don't read. I'm not good at it.
because I don't read.
Okay. Do you want to hear about? I've got
Yes.
2 from this place. This is shout out to Nana. She sent a link to me that has these stories. So, oh, Mr. B. Oh, Mr. B, what are you doing?
What up now? What up now? Well, if it is tapped on, that's a problem.
That's a real big problem if it's tapped on.
That's a biggin' problem.
So, do you want to hear about East Wind Inn, or do you want to hear about
And what a happy
one
story.
that's a little closer to home, where it's
like where we live home or like up home?
Yeah, where we live home. Like where is it?
I'm like
Like
York. Turning
York.
around my bed. That's not close to you at all, Justin. That's
No, but
close
it's
to
closer
me.
than like Millinocket,
That's
which is another
close
spot.
to me.
Yeah, do you want to hear about it? It's a witch.
Yes.
Okay. This is the
Tell
York
me.
Witch. I
That's what they
can't
call
promise
me.
that it'll be. I'm raising my eyebrow, but you couldn't tell. I can't promise that it'll be read as good, but I will try my best.
Read as well.
Look, lady, cut it out.
Do you know what I really want to get while you're reading me the story?
What?
More of my pork bites.
You want to bring some to me?
No, you should have come over.
I also, rude of
We
you,
could have
because I've
counted
already
up-
plugged the merch, so I can't really
Oh!
do it again.
Hold up. One moment, folks. You just wait one hot diggity second. I've been wearing this all week, so it's a little stained. But look at this bad boy.
Can't really
can't-
see much, but
You can't really see much because it's dark. Un momento, por favor. Focus my light.
My hair is falling
The
out.
sun.
Oh no.
So this is the sweatshirt. It says dangerously good, or what does it say? It's been a minute. I don't read the back of my sweatshirt. Chaotically Good Podcast. And it's the D20, which is hilarious because it's a number, it's the one, which is the lowest roll. Go team. But it's just our No Impulse Control merch. Super comfortable.
From the
super
Chaos
flexible.
Collection.
From the Chaos Collection. I ordered, what size did I order? Did I order a 2 or a 1?
I think you got a large.
I ordered a 1. I got
or
a
one.
XL, and this bad boy fits like a 2XL. I highly recommend. It is comfy. I will say it's not great for winter time. Like I wouldn't wear it as like the only layer that I have on, but it's great for fall. It is a little warm for summer. It's like perfect for right now, but you could totally wear it under a winter coat and be like comfy. I wore it
potentially
gym.
too warm.
I wore it to the gym. A little too hot, but very comfortable. Pocket's huge. It's a little low down, so it's like super comfy. Anyway, I haven't tried on my shark shirt, but I did look at it. It's adorable. Highly suggest if you're into like Hawaiian shirt styles. And that's all the merch that I bought. But plugging the merch, because we worked tirelessly. I mean, we were up for like 88 hours on it and just staring into a screen for you guys. So
Can I have more merch, please?
no, you have enough merch. You have
okay.
enough.
I
no,
have a lot of merch.
Justin has the merch on tsk1239.com. If you go there, it'll bring you to Fourth Wall, which will bring you to the merch. Mom and Rosemary, count your days. They haven't bought any. Telling them to count their days. The window tappers are coming. Oh, I'm stuck in my wing.
I was gonna say it's just you and I tapping on the window. Get our merch.
Yes, I'm waiting for the response in the group chat right now.
All right,
but yeah,
ready for
merch
the
is
York
done.
Witch?
Okay, merch is done, guys.
My turn.
Your turn.
Okay, the
Thanks,
York
all,
Witch.
All right.
All right. This is more of like a informative. It's not really told in story form, but I will try my best.
Okay.
All right. Near the southwest corner of the old. Yep. All right. Good start. Old burying ground is a grave with head and footstones, between which and lying on the ground is a large.
Sorry.
What?
Mr. B.
ever
Oh
tap
God,
on
if
my
you
window,
ever tap on
We're coming, Mr. B. We're coming.
buy our merch. Buy our merch. That is a little threatening. Yeah, Mom, it is.
It is. Oh my goodness. Okay. The
Count
purple
your
hail
days,
really,
Patricia.
really did it.
Count your days, Rosemary. Rosemary.
That was wild.
I added a syllable.
Rosemary.
It's just Rosemary. It's 3 and I made it 4.
All right. Between which and lying on the ground is a large flat rock, as large as the grave itself. The inscription reads thus: Mary Nason, wife of Samuel Nason, dead August 28th, 1774, aged 29 years. The writer of this, when a youth living in York was given to when a youth in York was given to understand that this stone was placed there to keep down a witch that was buried buried beneath it. Jasmine, I'm struggling.
I'm trying to piece together what's happening here.
Basically, it just gave you an understanding of a grave with a stone on top of it.
Okay.
Because there was a witch underneath, and on there says witch, basically. As the stone inscriptions imply, the witch buried in the old burying yard is Mary Nason, wife of Samuel Nason, of Old York,
How is it
Maine.
spelled?
Nasson.
Nason,
I think it's
probably.
Nason. Either way. Old York, Maine, who passed away August 28th, 1774, at the age of 29. In life, Mary was a devoted wife, a loving mother, and respected healer in the community. She said to be skilled in both herbism and in performing exorcisms. because
Good for
of
her.
because of her knowledge in the healing with plants and dispelling of dark inflections. Mary became known as the White Witch. Mary gave
Mhm.
and Mary's grave is a unique. Oh my goodness, Mary's grave is a unique one due to both its location in the cemetery and the stones adorning it. Her
Okay.
grave site all sits all by itself near a far corner of the cemetery. It's an ornamented. It is ornamented. Ornamented. I think it's ornamented. I don't know. With both.
Oriented?
No, I think it's ornament.
Ornamented. If it's
Yeah.
got things on it, it's ornamented.
Okay. With both a finely made headstone with a likeness of her carved into the
Oh, I don't like that.
tampium,
Sh-
tampanium,
Yeah, sure.
and the footstone, as well as a slab that covers the area of ground where
Footstone.
Mary's
Oh
body
my
was
god.
laid to rest. According to local legend, the people of York placed the stone slab across the earth above her body in an attempt to keep the White Witch from raising from her grave. A more likely reason was that the slab was what is referred to as a wolf stone, which was a
Okay.
stone placed over the body to prevent scavenging from animals. If the stone was placed there in an attempt to keep the witch from rising, it was unsuccessful. According to Joseph Sircho's book, Weird New England, Your Guide to New England's Local Legends and Best Kept Secrets, Mary's
Mhm.
ghost was reportedly been seen at the park close to the old burying yard,
Hmm.
pushing local kids on a swing and giving them wildflowers. That's that's it. That's the
Mm-mm.
story. That's kind of creepy.
I don't like that. Don't give my kid flowers.
Yeah.
You can't.
Your story is a lot more scary. I'm gonna make that clear. Your story was a lot scarier.
Again, it's all in the reading, my friend.
I don't feel like you
You
would
got
have
to
made
tap
that
on
story
things.
scary. Yeah, fair, I guess. I have another one, but if you want to
Okay.
read yours, you can do that one, and then I'll go to this one.
Sure.
Or do you want me to read this one, and then we can end with your scary because your scary is probably scarier than mine.
Well, I have a few stories to
Oh,
choose
you have
from.
a few?
I have a few. I have a lot.
Okay.
We want to end?
No, I don't want to end. I'm just saying, like.
Oh, okay. You want
Okay,
to
I'll
end?
go. And I'm gonna try my
okay.
best to do a story in the scary voice. Everybody, goose faba.
Scary doesn't mean deeper. It's fine. Go.
I wasn't going deeper. I was zoning in. All right.
Mm-hmm.
About 7 years ago, I got an invitation to attend my cousin's dinner party. I have never seen my cousin before and only spoke to him on the phone. I was surprised that the family unexpectedly invited me after all these years. The invitation had an uncharted address that the GPS was unfamiliar with. I used the map and pinned the location, as one does.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm driving, I tend to notice how far I ventured off from civilization. Trees after trees, farms after farms. Where the F am I going? It does actually say the word. I just didn't want to say it on here.
Mm-hmm.
I finally found found a similar address that might be it. Approaching the house, I noticed how dull and dreary it looked. It completely engulfed with leaves and branches. This can't be it, I said to myself. As soon as I entered the rocky driveway, my aunt and uncle came out to greet me. They seemed excited and welcoming. Walking into the house, I asked where my cousin is. Ignored immediately.
Oh.
Er, I lied. Answered immediately.
Oh. I was like, wait, what?
He went to run a few errands and he should be back later. We spent the whole couple of hours talking about my mother and family. My aunt made delicious homemade pot roast that I finished
Mhm.
off in minutes. After dinner, we played an enduring game of Uno. It was surprisingly fun and competitive. Competitive, I added the Lee.
Mhm.
When we finished Uno, it was almost dark, and still no sign of my cousin. Regardless, I had to leave. It was almost dark. You already said that. It was almost dark, and I would have trouble getting out of this dreadful place. My GPS was ineffective, so I asked my aunt and uncle the most efficient way onto the highway. They gave me a puzzled look. I thought you were staying the night. I told them
Oh.
I couldn't because I had to work tomorrow and couldn't afford to miss another day. It's much better if you leave tomorrow morning. Trust me, you'll get lost. I shrugged them off and told them not to
Okay.
worry. I'm an adept navigator.
Mm-hmm.
I could get out of the Sahara Desert. Looking aggravated, they strongly advised me to stay the night for my own sake. At this point, I was getting pissed and irritated. I sighed, fine, I'll stay the night, but I have to get up early for work.
Fine.
Both of them seemed uh, strangely ecstatic that I was staying the night. As soon as they went to go to get my bed sheets and pillow, I ran out the door and got in my car. I hastily pulled out of their driveway. It took me a while, but I found my way out of the depressing place. I got home an hour later than expected. I was 11 and I didn't want to wake my parents. It was 11. I was not 11. It was 11. I was really confused there for a second. It was 11 and I didn't want to wake my parents up. Climbed my fence and entering the back door, I noticed the
Mhm.
kitchen lights were on. As soon as I took my
Okay.
first step in the door, I see my mom sitting there looking impatient. "Where were you?" she asked. "I was at
Mm.
Aunt Deborah's. You knew this." "Then why did she call saying you never arrived?" Till this day, I
Mm.
never knew who I visited.
Mm-mm. I don't like that. Mm.
It makes me question what kind of pot roast that actually was.
That was human flesh.
It was their last nephew visiting. Nephew. Any Hooser, that's my attempted story reading.
No, that was good. I like it.
Ow. My foot.
So I've got 2 for you to choose from. Actually, I've got 3 for you to choose from. I don't mind reading all 3 either, but you know. Sorry, I just thought about eating human pot roast, and that made me upset. Ugh. Would you rather 1, 2, or 3? I'm gonna tell you no details.
I don't know. Let's ask chat. Those that are listening. 1, 2, or
Chat?
3. Chat, yeah. The chat that's here.
We at the hotel, Holiday Inn.
Your screen went completely black there for a second. I was like, oh, she's gone.
Holiday Inn. I'm in a sing-songy mood.
Which is not really the
I
vibe.
need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero to the end of the. So sorry, chat. Never actually explained what was happening here. I got 3 stories. Would y'all rather 1, 2, or 3? All right, vote for
Mr. B
3.
says 3.
Okay. Does anyone else have a vote? Because 3's fine. 3's good. It's okay. It's fine.
3 safe.
What is 3? 3's longer, but 3's good. Like it. The comments on 3 made me upset, so I'm excited for the story. You know,
Like
you know,
upset, as in like
like
scared upset, or like
heebie-jeebies.
oh
Like some of the things they were referencing from the story.
ah. All right. Well, I am also going with
3.
3, and then Mom said 2.
Okay. I'm gonna give y'all 10 more seconds to vote, and then we'll go on.
All right,
Such an
teacher.
elementary school teacher. All right, 10 more seconds, and then we'll count our votes. Also, we gave the kids an option today. If any of my kids are watching, I'm so upset with you. Please don't be watching.
How dare
by the
you
way.
watch?
Rosemary and Mambo said 3. Y'all could comment on YouTube.
All right, so it looks like majority said 3, so
Said
let's
3.
do 3.
Okay. Anyway, I gave my kids the vote. We could watch Paranorman, or we could watch Shrek, because we were all dressed as Shrek characters, right? These little buggers chose to watch Paranorman. Then we started watching it, and like, that's not a good movie to watch at school. At one point, I don't know if any of you all have seen it. Paranorman's a little kid who can see ghosts. It's like a whole thing. And when he sees these said ghosts, one of the ghosts he sees is his dead grandma, who's watching TV with him.
If they comment on YouTube too.
They do.
Correct with me.
And he sees his dead grandma and he's talking to her, whatever, and he asks his dad to turn up the heat because grandma's whatever. It's like a whole thing.
Oh, that's creepy.
And yes, it's a whole thing. And the dad calls him a mental case, and I was like, ugh. But then when he said no to turning up the heat, like in the movie we're watching, rated PG, the grandma goes, "What a jackass!" And we're watching this at school, and I just sort of paused and looked over at Deirdre, and she was like, don't say anything. And one of my kids goes and raises her hand, and I was like, no, it's okay. We're gonna just move past it. Anyone want more candy? Who? I hear candy. It's like, oh my god.
You want a Smartie?
If you stay quiet. That's horrible. That's
Don't
not the
tell
advice
your
I give to children.
parents.
Okay, well,
I said
Hey,
it, and then I was
Justin.
like, maybe we don't say that
maybe
one.
we don't say that. All right, you guys ready? You ready for my scary story?
Okay, bone chilling. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's
All
go.
right. Now I'm gonna read like this now. So
Oh,
it's
please don't.
called. No, it's called. My wife has been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying. You ready? Okay, you're not answering me. That's fine.
Let's do it, I guess.
You don't
scared.
want to. Are you actually?
No.
My wife Lynn and I have been together for 6 years and married for 11 months. Our entire history together has been very normal, and never once have I noticed any weird behaviors or red flags. I can't stress enough how out of character this whole thing is for her. Lynn is very kind, intelligent, and thoughtful. She's always been the no-nonsense type of person. Being childish or trying to scare me is not something she'd normally do. She doesn't even like watching horror movies. When we first started dating, she agreed to watch The Shining with me because she knew how much I loved horror. She was so scared she didn't even make it through half of the movie before we had to turn it off. She isn't into anything creepy and has never been into pranks. It's just not her cup of tea. And that's fine. But that's what's so strange about this. It is just so unlike her. I should also add, she's never had any mental health issues, and as far as I'm aware, it doesn't run in her family. I know some people are able to hide their mental health problems, but in the 6 years we've been together, I think I'd have seen some sort of sign. 2 months ago, I was in the kitchen making myself some coffee before work. I was running a bit late that morning, and I knew I wouldn't be able to make it to Dunkin' for my usual morning fix. Oh, this is
Fair.
local. It's probably just anywhere with a Dunkin'. I took a sip of coffee as I hurried down the hall toward the front door, when I happened to notice Lynn peeking at me from around the corner ahead of me. I could only see her eyes and a strand of her long, dark hair hanging against the wall. The rest of her body was concealed behind the corner. I nearly spilled my coffee when I saw her. I did burn the shit out of my lips. Geez, Lynn, I said, wiping a few drops of coffee from my pants. You scared the shit out of me. She immediately popped out of view like a little kid that had been caught. I heard her scurry off toward the living room, and by the time I got to the front door, she was out of sight. It was really
Are we
weird.
Sure that's Lynn?
It was really weird and just totally out of character for her, like I said, but I also found it kind of funny that she was being more playful and just a little less serious. I shouted that I loved her, called her a weirdo, and as I shut the door behind me, I heard her laughing. Her behavior was a bit odd, but certainly wasn't something to call a priest over. I forgot about it by lunch, and by the time I got home, she was her normal self. I didn't bring it up, and neither did she. Life went on. The next incident happened 3 days later. It was around 2 a.m., and I had woken up to get a drink. I was standing at the kitchen island, jug of OJ in hand. That's an
You leave
odd
him alone.
drink.
That's fine.
How did you know that's what I
I knew
was gonna
exactly where your brain was going.
The brain cell knows. I was standing at the kitchen island, jug of OJ in hand, when I felt a strong feeling that I was being watched. One moment, it's bedtime, so I'm sleepy. My apologies. This is when I start getting ready for bed. For whatever reason, I looked down at the floor and I saw my wife's smiling face staring back. I don't like that. She was
You're, like,
peeking at
out
me
on
from
the
the other.
floor?
I looked down at the floor and saw my wife's smiling face staring back. She was peeking at me from the other side of the island, staring up at me with wide, unblinking eyes and grinning like the Cheshire Cat. I screamed. I'll admit it, not out of irritation, but fear. For some reason at that moment, I was scared. At the sound of my scream, Lynn scuttled backwards out of my view, her hands and feet smacking the tiled floor as she hurried out of the kitchen on all fours. I didn't run after her or even yell after her. I just stood there, frozen in shock, wondering what the fuck had possessed her to do that. Sorry, I am willing to swear, guys. My apologies. It took me a little longer than I'd like to admit to go back upstairs, but eventually I did. When I got to the bedroom, Lynn was on her side, lying asleep, or at least pretending to be. I stood there for
That
a
ain't
while.
Lynn. I'm gonna call it.
Stood there for a while, watching her breathing to be sure she really was asleep. Oh my god. This is ruining the vibe. I had the feeling she might jump out at me the moment I got into bed, but she didn't. I climbed into bed and she didn't even move. Her breathing was soft and deep, and I was starting to wonder if I had just dreamt the whole thing. The next morning, I waited for her to come down for coffee.
My goodness. Oh dear.
And after handing her a mug and kissing her cheek, I decided to ask her about it. What was that about last night? I asked, keeping my tone light so I didn't offend her or embarrass her. She frowned over her cup of coffee, shaking her head like she had no clue. I'm really struggling here. Like she had no clue who or what I was referring to. You were peeking at me again. From over there, I said, pointing to the spot on the floor by the kitchen island. She followed my gaze, and when she looked back at me, she burst out laughing. She laughed so hard that I couldn't help but join her. You creep me the fuck out sometimes, you know that? I said. She giggled and set her cup on the counter and wrapped her arms around my neck. You creep me out all the time, so I guess we're even. She teased. We said our goodbyes, left for work. As I drove, I kept thinking about how creepy it was that I had seen her grinning at me from behind the island like that. The sounds her hand made on the floor as she crawled away. I told myself she was just trying to be silly, just trying to join me from my love of all things horror. It's not like I was afraid of her, but it still didn't sit right with me. I started seeing her peeking at me more and more. Sometimes she'd be peeking out from behind the couch or living room curtains. Once she even managed to get inside her grandmother's old trunk that sits at the foot of our bed. I don't like that.
No, that trunk's getting slammed, and we're sending it off to.
Yeah, Lynn's gone.
Yeah.
I might not have even known she was there at all had the trunk's old hinges not given her away. She had the lid propped up just enough so that only half her face peeked through. She'd been grinning like an excited toddler. It was unnerving. I didn't even know what to say to her. All I could do was stare. When I finally found my voice, I asked her why on earth she was doing this. She didn't answer, but slowly closed the lid, shutting herself inside the trunk. I just walked away feeling very disturbed. I didn't understand why she was doing it, but clearly it made her happy, and I just hoped she would tire of the game quickly. Lynn didn't peek at me for the next 2 weeks. I started to think she was done with her weird prank and was relieved. We were watching a show on Netflix one night, and I jokingly said I hadn't seen her peeking at me lately, that she must have given up on her spy game. She looked at me with a small smile and said, Maybe I've just gotten better at it. I didn't say anything, but I wondered whether or not she was joking. For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. Was she still peeking at me when I wasn't looking, and I just hadn't noticed? If so, what the hell was she getting out of this? I started to feel paranoid, constantly checking whether she was watching from the corner or behind a door. I was jumpy when I was home and she wasn't in full view of me. I felt stupid and crazy. But after a few weeks without another incident, I began to relax. I stopped checking behind furniture and walls and told myself it was just a bad memory. Then, a few days ago, things got so much worse. Lynn left to go to a friend's, and I lounged on the couch and played a couple games on my laptop. Around 9 p.m., I hopped in the shower, and as I was washing the soap from my hair, I felt that awful feeling that I was being watched.
Oh.
I slowly opened my eyes and almost had a fucking heart attack.
I would have
Lynn was-
clocked her.
Lynn
be
was
honest.
peeking from behind the shower curtain, her entire head stretched into the shower, leaving just her body outside. Her long, dark hair hung against the curtain, the ends dripping with water. Her mouth hung open in a terrible grin, eyes wide and red as if she hadn't blinked in a while. I screamed and jumped back against the wall. She didn't move, nor did her smile waver. Her makeup ran down her cheeks in 2 black streaks. She looked giddy and completely deranged. I was terrified. We stood like that for a few moments, neither of us saying a word. Finally, after what felt like forever, she slowly pulled her head back out of the shower, and I watched her blurry figure through the curtain as she moved backward toward the bathroom door. Sorry, one moment. I really am sorry. My body is ready for bed. Oh, I read ahead and I got creeped out. We stood like that for a few moments, neither of us saying a word. Nope. A second later, the bathroom door slammed shut, hard enough to rattle the mirror. I screamed again and jumped out of the shower to lock the door. I stayed inside the bathroom for over an hour. Maybe I overreacted to some of you, but joke or not, I wasn't going to put up with the crazy shit anymore. That's what I kept telling myself as I paced my bathroom, stopping to listen at the door every few minutes. Suddenly, I heard a muffled sound, and I pressed my ear against the bathroom door, straining to listen. I couldn't hear anything, but I envisioned Lynn standing on the other side of the door, giggling at her joke. I felt a surge of anger. I was beyond pissed at being made to feel scared in my own house and made to hide in this bathroom for an hour. All for what? Some joke? If it was a joke, it was an awful one. What the fuck, Lynn? I snapped. This shit is getting really annoying. I waited for her to apologize or to call me a jerk, but instead I heard a faint moan, so quiet I wondered if I heard it at all, and then complete silence. Lynn? I called out, not able to even hide the shakiness in my voice. I got no response, just my own heavy breathing. I swear to God, just stop it, I yelled, pounding my fist on the door. I waited for her to cuss me out, something I would expect from me talking to her like that. I never screamed at her before. But there was nothing, just the occasional drip from the shower head. I won't deny, I was scared, too afraid to open the damn door and face my own wife. I waited another 30 minutes or so, which feels like a lifetime when you're scared. Finally, I decided I wasn't going to spend the night hiding in my bathroom, so I got down on my knees and peered under the door. I almost expected to see her face peeking back at me, but thankfully I didn't. I could see straight down the hallway to the top of the stairs, but no Lynn. I didn't know if I should be happy about that or not. I looked for a few minutes, waiting to see her head pop over the top of the step, but it never came. I stood up, my hand hovering over the door, and mentally prepared myself to open it. I'm sorry, this one's a long one. I slowly turned the lock with shaky fingers and was about to yank it open when I heard a sound that made me still makes me feel nauseous when I think about it. A moan, louder than before, but this time I was able to tell just where it was coming from. I turned my head to the closet door as if in slow motion and locked eyes with my wife, who was peeking out for me from the slight gap.
Mm-mm.
Her eyes were still wide as ever, and her mouth was hanging open in the most grotesque, gaping smile I'd ever seen. I didn't even scream. I was too scared for it. Her hands were clasped to her chest, body trembling with sheer delight, as if she could barely contain her excitement. A short, raspy moan bubbled from her throat, deep and raw, sending a shiver through my entire body. Somehow, I found the ability to pull my bathroom door open and run as fast as I could all the way down the steps, snagging my keys and phone from the table in the living room before running outside to my car. I could hear her shrill laughter behind me, but I didn't hear her getting closer. I didn't bother shutting the front door. I drove away from the house faster than I legally should have, shivering the entire time, either from fear or cold. Maybe a little of both. I hadn't even grabbed a coat or a pair of shoes. I was still in my boxers and my hair was damp. I drove straight to my brother Chris's house, about 40 minutes away, ignoring any and every call and text I got. I didn't check my phone until I was safely parked in my brother's driveway. Lynn had called 4 times and sent a flurry of texts, all wondering where I'd gone and why I left like that. I threw my phone at the dash in a rage, furious at her nonchalant attitude. My brother and his wife were surprised to see me, especially dressed in just boxers, but told me to stay as long as I needed. Chris lent me some clothes and asked me what happened. I told him Lynn and I had a fight, but didn't get into the details. I didn't want him to think I was overreacting, leaving my wife over a prank, even if it was a strange one. I mean, hadn't I encouraged her for years to lighten up instead of being so serious all the time? I'd wanted her to relax and loosen, but this definitely was not what I had in mind. I tried to sleep on their sofa, but my brain wouldn't let me sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lynn's face staring at me from inside the closet. What?
Mom commented, "Lynn, cut your shit, lol."
Oh, it hasn't updated on mine yet. Oh, that's funny though. How you doing, buddy? I'm not done yet.
I believe it.
There's so much left. Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna go. I got this. Ah, son of a suffering succotash. Woo!
Lynn, cut your shit.
Lynn, cut your shit. I can't wait to quote that for the next 3 months. I tried to sleep on the knowing she'd been in there with me the entire time made my skin crawl. She'd never left the fucking bathroom at all. Instead, she slipped inside the closet and slammed the bathroom door shut to fool me. The mere thought of going back home gave me anxiety. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Chris ended up having to give me a sleeping pill so I could get a little rest. My sleep was filled with terrible dreams, all of Lynn's smiling face. My mom is saying nightmare. It is.
Yeah.
I can't wait to not sleep tonight. I woke up just as the sun started to rise. My sore body ached from the sofa and I felt drained. I knew I'd have to call Lynn at some point, but I didn't even know what to say to her. I wouldn't be going
How
home
about
unless
here's
she
the
gave me
divorce papers?
unless she gave me her word she'd never do any more creepy shit. I just wanted my wife back. Her normal, serious self never looked so good. I was contemplating calling her and telling her that when the familiar feeling came over me. I was being watched. I was staring at the ceiling, my heart in my throat. I didn't want to look away, but the longer I ignored it, ignored the feeling, the worse it got. My eyes drifted from the ceiling almost on their own. Her face was pressed against the window beside the couch, staring at me
Nope.
with the same gaping smile.
Oh, no.
Drool dribbled down her lips, leaving 2 long streaks against the glass. I don't know how long she'd been there, but something told me it had been quite a while, possibly all night. I didn't bother screaming, though I was afraid anger trumped my fear. Though I was afraid anger trumped any fear I felt at that moment. I jumped from the couch and pounded my palm against the glass. Lynn, are you crazy? What the hell is wrong with you? Just go home, I shouted. Now! She didn't move, and her ghastly expression never changed. If anything, her smile only grew, as if she'd never been more elated. I could hear Chris and his wife moving around upstairs. As if Lynn could hear them from her place outside, her head twitched slightly in their direction, and she began to close her mouth slowly. Chris called my name from upstairs, obviously concerned. I turned to see him and his wife Rebecca hurrying down the steps. When I turned back to the window, Lynn was gone. The only sign she'd been there at all were 2 streaks of drool dripping down the glass. I tried explaining to Chris and Rebecca about waking up to see Lynn watching me through their window. They were skeptical. I mean, who wouldn't be? Chris and I went outside to the spot in front of the window, but there were no footprints in the dirt, just a slight indent. Animal, probably, Chris guessed, and I didn't argue. He and Rebecca assumed I dreamt the entire episode, but they didn't understand, and I was too tired to explain it to them. I called out of work that day and turned my cell off. I didn't want to face Lynn. Just talking to her was too much for me at that point. I'd really started to believe something was irreversibly wrong with her, that no matter what promises she made would never be the same again, and the thought saddened me to my core. I cried most of the morning. By noon, I figured I was ready to confront her, give her one last chance to explain herself. I could at least give her that after 6 years, I told myself. I turned on my phone and I saw the dozens of texts she sent, all from a seemingly concerned wife. Can we talk? I love you. Please call me. I'm really worried. Can you answer?
Doubt it.
Sounds like footsteps in my house. One moment, please. We're good. It's downstairs. When it's really quiet in the house and there's no like Connor's not playing video games or whatever, the sounds from Domino's are very loud. It's very hard to like. They're loud. And then the last one, just come home. More of the same. All texts telling me she loved me and she wanted me home. How worried she was. Not a damn one addressing the crazy shit she had just pulled, like she hadn't been acting like a character from a Stephen King book. Even her texts were different. She normally texted novels just to tell me to pick up a loaf of bread. You'd think she'd have more to say to me after her bizarre shenanigans, which, by the way, 2 great vocab words. I know it probably seems childish to some of you who are miles away from this situation, but if you saw the way Lynn had looked at me, how she scampered away on all fours like a wild animal, grinning at me from inside the closet like a lunatic, then I think you'd find my reaction was warranted. I ended up staying with Chris and Rebecca for another night. I didn't wake up yesterday until afternoon and thankfully did not see Lynn's face watching me through the window. I don't want to pry because it's not my place, but is this fight something that can be mended? Rebecca asked. She'd made us both a sandwich for lunch, and I knew she wanted to breach the subject without seeming to be nosy. I don't know, she's like a different person, I said, choosing my words carefully. I still wasn't ready for her or Chris to know the full extent of the batshit craziness I'd been dealing with. People change, Ben, but she's still the same woman you married.
Doesn't seem like it.
Maybe you both just need to talk through your issues. Whatever's going on, I'm sure it can be fixed, she said, ever the peacemaker. I think it's beyond that now. I don't think talking would help. I don't trust her, I said. The words stung my heart. I missed and loved my wife, but how could I live with someone like that? Living in constant fear didn't sound that appealing. Lynn loves you. She has to be absolutely crushed, she said. I don't know about that, I said. Well, she certainly seems like it to me. I've never seen her so upset. Very much unlike the Lynn I know, Rebecca said, shaking her head sadly. It took a full minute for her words to really sink in, and when they did, I felt dread worming its way through my skin. Wait, what do you mean? You saw her? You saw Lynn? I asked, my mouth suddenly dry. Rebecca nodded casually as if the fact wasn't nightmare fuel, and maybe for her it isn't. She stopped by this morning just after Chris left for work, she said, cleaning the plates from the table. I didn't see her car, though. Maybe she took an Uber or something. Beck, what did she say?
Did
she
she
come
leave?
inside? Well, that's a great question, Justin. I asked, sweat starting to break out on my forehead. I began looking around, examining corners as though a predator lurked behind them. No, she just asked if you were awake yet. I said you weren't. I asked if she wanted me to wake you. She said no. She just said to let you sleep, she said as she washed the dishes. That's all? She didn't say anything else? I asked. No, she looked awful, though, like she hadn't slept in days. I really think you should call her. I got up from the table and I thanked Rebecca for lunch. I felt a little bit better at the knowledge that at least she hadn't come inside. Still, I needed to double check the doors were all locked. I sat for a while trying to figure out what to do next. I didn't want to go home, but I felt I owed it to Lynn to help her if I couldn't. Hadn't I sworn an oath to love and honor her through sickness and health? Clearly, she was very sick. If she was sick, which I truly believe she is, I had to try and get her the help she needed. But I didn't even know where to start. I didn't want to call the police, and besides, what was I going to tell them? That my wife was peeking at me? That she was being a little creepy? As bizarre as as bizarre as she'd been, she still hadn't committed really any crime. Not yet, anyway. The police would have said I was overreacting, but that this wasn't some prank. It felt wrong, dangerous even, like some sinister lurked beneath that smile. I knew as her husband I was well within my rights to have her committed, but what if she simply acted normal in their presence? She'd obviously been able to fool Rebecca into thinking she was just my concerned wife. As long as the doctors didn't find her a danger to herself or others, they'd have no choice but to release her after 72 hours. I felt lost and overwhelmed. So I did what any husband in my position would do. I called her mother. This is not what one does. I didn't want to, believe me. Her mother, Marianne, and I were never on the best of terms. We'd never fought or anything like that. She just wasn't a warm person, and really wasn't easy to get along with. She hardly ever smiled, and when she did, only her lips would move into a thin lip smile, leaving her eyes as blank as before. She gave off this aura that felt like she was permanently on the offensive. I'd only met her twice. You only met her mom twice? In 6 years? Feels like, okay. I'd only met her twice, and both times were for such short visits. I got the impression she didn't approve of me for her daughter. Lynn always ushered us out quickly, as she didn't want me to feel uncomfortable, which I was grateful for. Being in her mother's company felt almost unbearable, like walking on glass. I was glad when we moved 3 states away so we didn't have to see her often. I was so happy to avoid the woman, but I needed her help. I really didn't want to talk to her at all, but I had to talk to someone who knew Lynn better than I did. So I grit my teeth and I did what I had to. Yes, she answered, already sounding irritated. Marianne, it's me, Ben. You have a minute to talk? I asked. I could hear her cluck her tongue in irritation. I'm in the middle of writing some checks, but if you insist, I suppose I can spare a moment. What is it that you want to discuss, Benjamin? She said, coolly? Painfully? It's about Lynn. She's been acting strangely, and I'm wondering if you had any idea whether there was something. I was quickly interrupted. It's a bit difficult to follow your rambling, Benjamin. What is it you want from me? She asked. I could almost see. There's a dog outside my window, and that just scared the shit out of me. You can't just start barking. Get it together, Lynn. Sorry, I'm going back to okay. She asked. I could almost see her standing there in her thin sweater and slacks, tapping her fingernails impatiently on the table. I wanted to know if you'd ever noticed any odd behavior, I guess, or mental health issues. I asked. There was a long, very uncomfortable pause. I couldn't tell was because she was just thinking or something else entirely. Finally, after a few seconds, she spoke. I'm not sure if this is one of your jokes, Benjamin, but if so, I don't find the humor in it. Now, I do have business to attend to, as I've said, so if you don't mind, she said, but I cut her off before she could get rid of me. Marianne, it's not a joke. I'm sincerely concerned about Lynn's mental health. Her behavior has been erratic lately. I'm worried about her, and I figured as her mother, you would be as well. I said, my frustration evident in my voice. If you're truly concerned, then I suggest you get the health professionals involved. I don't know what you expect of me, she snapped. I could tell she was seconds away from hanging up, and for some reason I was desperate not to let her. I had the feeling she knew a lot more than she was letting on. Please, if not for me, then do it for Lynn, I tried. I heard a faint, shaky intake of breath, as if she were trying to hold her steely persona together but was failing. Marianne, what's wrong? Benjamin, I don't know what to tell you. My only advice would be to seek professional help. Do not call here ever again. Goodbye. I tried to call out, but she'd hung up. I tried to wrap my head around the call and her refusal to help me. Even if she didn't like me, why would she not want to help her own daughter? I couldn't understand. I tried to replay the conversation, desperate to find something I missed. After a while, I almost gave up, but I remembered her last words to me. Seek professional help. She'd said those words with a bit of urgency. I could have been gasping at straws, but no, I was sure her voice had changed ever so slightly, as if they were important. What had she meant? I assumed she'd been referring to medical professionals, but maybe she was referring to someone else, someone that she, for some reason, didn't feel comfortable saying directly. Or maybe I was just desperate. Oh, this is very long.
How much longer do you have?
It gets creepy, so it's fine.
Okay.
It gets where I'm gonna skip a little bit of the mom thing because the mom thing just it doesn't pan out.
Okay.
I waited for Chris to get home, and after a very long and exhausting conversation with him and his wife, I convinced him that Lynn truly needed psychiatric help. I didn't tell them everything. I wasn't prepared to go into it yet, but I told them about our last encounter, how she'd hidden in the bathroom, peeking at me from the closet. They were shocked, but thankfully they believed me. They too just wanted to help her. They still didn't think it was that serious. Maybe weird, but not dangerous. They just kept saying that if Lynn had to be playing some kind of weird joke, maybe for a YouTube, Rebecca offered, if only half-heartedly, for a YouTube.
A YouTube.
Chris didn't think we should involve the police. He just offered to go with me and tried to reasonably coax her into going as willingly as possible. I agreed to do it his way, so at least I wouldn't be going alone. We drove over this morning just after breakfast. There was no way I was going home at night. When we pulled into the driveway, my stomach began doing somersaults. Her car wasn't there, but I still didn't let my guard down. Jesus. The front door was left ajar, and for a split second I thought we'd see eyes staring through the gap. I was shaking and starting to sweat. Chris was fine. He waited for me to open the door, his hands in his pockets like he was going on a stroll through the park. I envied his ignorance. I pushed the door open and was immediately hit with the stench of rot. Chris walked in and he smelled it too. His nose scrunched up as he followed. What do you guys use to clean the floors with around here, huh? Shit? Chris mumbled. Shut up, I said, my eyes darting around for Lynn. The house was deadly quiet and dark despite being 10 in the morning. All the curtains were closed, refusing to allow any sunlight inside. If I hadn't left just 2 days prior, I thought the house to be abandoned. We moved carefully, checking any place she might hide, occasionally calling her name. Why are you looking under the couch? Chris asked eventually. Aren't we looking for your wife? He was looking at me like I was a moron. Let's go upstairs, I whispered. He followed me up the stairs to check the bathroom and the spare bedroom. On the way up, my shoes crunched over pieces of glass that looked to be littered over a few of the steps. I noticed one of Lynn and my wedding portraits that hung on the wall had been smashed, the frame crooked, all the glass removed. I stared at the picture, a lump forming in my throat. We had taken the photo just after leaving the church, after saying our vows. She looked so beautiful in her white gown. I looked at Lynn's beautiful face, and I never could have dreamed her face would be a source of terror. I was hesitant to go into my bathroom, my fear from that night coming back to me. This poor man's got PTSD.
Oh, big time.
Chris noticed and offered to go in himself, but I couldn't let him do that. So we walked in together, checking the closet and the shower. The bathroom hadn't been touched since I left. I don't think she's here, Ben. Why don't you pack some clothes and we'll just try coming tomorrow or something? When I checked inside our closet, I came across the source of the smell and gagged. Chris took one look and lost all color in his face. He had to go stand by the stairs to get away from the sight and the smell. I gazed down in shock at what lay inside my bedroom closet. Soaking into the rug were at least a dozen eyeballs, all carefully laid out in pairs. Some were as large as a quarter, while others were as tiny as a marble. I stared at the eyes she'd collected from small animals, and I'd wonder how'd she gotten them, and then shuddered at the thought. Man, I thought I had it bad with Becca's shoe addiction, but fuck me. Your wife's in here collecting eyeballs, Chris said, gagging. Ben, we gotta go. I'm getting nauseous. All right. I grabbed my duffel and shut the closet door on my new nightmare. I stepped into the hall and took a deep breath of air. I could taste the rot on my tongue and couldn't help but gag. Sorry, I don't do eyeballs. Okay. She doesn't need help, Ben. She needs an exorcist, he said. You coming or what? I can't stand the smell of any... His words died in his throat. His eyes grew wide with fear. I didn't ask him why. I could feel it. Someone was watching me, and I didn't think it was the eyes in the closet. I turned around, my eyes slowly scanning. Christ, I whispered, as I finally saw what we'd missed. Under the bed, curled on her side, watching us with the excitement of a kid on Christmas, was my wife. She held her hands together under her chin, and they were shaking eagerly. Now that she'd been found, I could hear the quiet noises she was making, a sort of hiccuping sound in her throat, as the excitement was just too much for her. It was too unnerving, to say the least. Wide eyes, same huge smile. Everything told me to run, but I forced it away. This was my wife, no matter how twisted. She was still the woman I married, and I had to help her. Lynn, I said softly, and she didn't respond, but her head bobbed back and forth in two quick movements as if she were nodding. Babe, I want to help, okay? Can you let me do that? I asked. I'd taken a single step forward, approaching her like some kind of dangerous animal. I love you, Lynn, I said softly, taking another step closer. Oh, God. She let a tiny moan escape her wide-open mouth, and I had to resist the urge to run. Her shoulders were quivering, and her eyes grew as large as saucers. I crouched down to see her better, and immediately saw the blood. Her hands were covered in it. They trembled more the closer I got, as if she were barely able to contain herself. Lynn, honey, are you hurt? You're bleeding, I said. She bobbed her head again, the bloody fingers moving up and down as if playing an invisible piano. They occasionally grazed her chin, leaving smears of blood. I wanted to recoil in disgust. The smell coming off of her was revolting. I could feel the vomit trying to climb up my throat. Her lips were dry and stretched thin, blood seeping between the cracks. I knew she wouldn't come out on her own, but I didn't want to leave her in the state she was in. I scooted closer and reached out to her. The excited hiccups got louder, and her hands shook, fingers flexing. It was then that I could see the blood oozing from between her fingers. Ow! Gross! Peace out, Lynn.
Peace out,
I
Lynn, as I run to my car.
Oh my God, Lynn, you're bleeding, I said instinctively as I reached out to take her hand. But before I could even touch her, her hand sprang towards me. A sharp pain shot through my arm, and I fell back on my ass. My arm burned, and I could see the blood dripping down the carpet. I looked back in shock as I saw her grinning madly, her fingers clutching a large shard of glass. Are you all right in there? Chris asked from behind me. I turned my head slightly and nodded to him, cradling my arm to my chest. When I looked back to face Lynn, I saw her focus had shifted. She wasn't looking at me anymore, and she wasn't smiling either. She was staring past me, her eyes glaring at Chris the way a hungry lion might stare at an antelope. Why did I say antelope?
Antelope.
Her mouth still hanging open, but it was twisted into a snarl. I got back to my feet and began walking backwards down the hall, afraid to take my eyes off her. Are you bleeding? Chris asked. The moment the words left his mouth, Lynn started fast scooting out from under the bed, glass shard in her fist. Chris, run! Go! I yelled. He must have been too afraid to move because a second later I felt my back bump into him. He was still standing at the top of the stairs, staring at the horror that was my wife. She had crawled completely from the bed and stood in the bedroom doorway, her face twisted in rage, her whole body visibly tense, blood running down her fingers onto the floor. Jesus, Lynn, Chris said, you, played hide and seek there? Why would you?
Chris, not the time.
Chris, buddy, let's hustle. Move your ass, Chris, I said quietly but firmly as I could. Lynn bobbed her head in fast, sharp motions and began to grin, stretching her mouth open wider and wider so her chin seemed to touch her chest. I heard Chris mutter a prayer, and then he was running. I stood at the top of the steps, stuck between the love for a woman who clearly needed help and self-preservation. I only want to help, I said, choking back tears. Her eyes focused on me again as she slowly lifted the glass, holding it out in front of her. And then she started sprinting toward me, grinning with utter excitement. Thankfully, my body took over and I flew down the stairs, skipping 2 at a time. I made it to the front door before I felt her leap onto my back, wrapping her arms around my neck, her open mouth next to my ear so I could hear those terrible, hiccuping sounds. I shook her off me, knocking her to the floor, and I felt a searing pain in my back as she went, but I tore open the front door and bolted to my car. Chris was standing in the front yard, talking on his phone with the police. I didn't say a word, I just ran to my car and jumped in. Chris took the hint, thankfully, and followed me, still on with 911. I watched the rearview mirror. We're literally like 5 sentences and I'm done. I skipped a big chunk because it was not important. I watched the rearview mirror to see, sure I'd see her there running after us, but I never did. I went straight to the ER, got 11 stitches in my arm, 3 on my back. The police asked a lot of questions and went back to the house, but Lynn wasn't there. They advised me to stay with a friend or relative for a while and to file a restraining order as soon as possible, but none of those things would matter. Somehow I just knew. I dropped Chris off at home. I went to a motel an hour away. I wanted to put as much distance between me and Lynn as I could. This is where I've been the last 4 hours. I thought maybe the police would find her. Maybe they'd get her help she desperately needs. But now I don't think so. Because 40 minutes ago, I got a text from an unknown number. Just 3 words. I found you. And a picture attached. The picture was dark and grainy, but I instantly knew what it was. There was no mistaking my wife's eye. I started typing this out immediately after. I don't know what to do. I'm alone and scared, and I can't help but feeling watched.
No thank.
Nothing.
I you know what it reminds me of the whole time you're reading that?
Unsettling?
No, Smile.
Yeah.
That's what it was giving me. Was the whole time you're reading, I was thinking the movie Smile.
Yeah, would it help to know that this movie, my word, this post was posted 3 years ago?
So it'd be after Smile 1, I'm pretty sure.
$2022. No, it was before Smile came out.
Oh, that's creepy. I feel so unresolved. That's so fair.
Yeah, so a couple of people so a couple of people said that it is a series, but he doesn't have the second part listed, like the guy that wrote it doesn't have the second part, like whatever. Yeah. Man, I really don't want to get up to close
I know,
my
I
window,
keep
but
like
yeah. I keep like looking at my window now. Throw the whole wife away. I'm just trying to look through the comments to see if there's Any what in the freshly baked fucked? That's a good one. Yeah, so
I think being time and great story. I had another one set up, but I think that's a good one to end on.
yeah, let's
With the
unresolve it
spooky,
and
yeah, leave it unresolved, spooky, scary skeleton style, and keep our lights on. Don't worry about Wallace; he's a good
I'm
guy.
being watched. You guys want to see Wallace? Hold on. This wasn't.
like
Look at this boy.
watching me.
He was a impulse buy that somebody pressured me into purchasing.
I have no
He's a
regrets.
squishmallow.
Oh
You guys
my
wanna know
goodness!
about it? His name is Wallace, but it's spelled Wallis. Wallace spends his summer afternoons at the park. He likes
Did
to
you hear the
fly a
whole thing
kite.
there, Big?
He likes to fly a kite, lie on his favorite woven blanket, watching birds, and devouring potato salad. Me too, Wallace. Wallace even sticks around after the sun sets and waits for the stars to come out. He can name all the constellations. I bet he can.
I believe it.
Glad
Big
I
Will,
don't
did
have a
you
partner because I would
did
be
you hear
afraid
the
they
whole
would kill me in
thing?
my sleep. That's
Yeah,
a
that
very fair point, Mr. B.
we get a
However,
top
this
5
is
scary movies. Maybe another podcast. Maybe Sunday. Who knows?
right now.
But
Let's go. Top 5 scary movies.
right now, to me, feels like bedtime.
Chicken.
Tired, actually. Anyways, yeah. I don't know top 5 scary. If I'm being 100% honest, I think
Unfriended.
Unfriended would be up there. I think
The Shining.
honestly, I think Smile would be up there. The first one. That one
Yeah.
messed me up.
Yeah,
Um,
that made me unhappy. I have not heard the whole thing. I apologize.
Oh, it's
totally
okay. 'Cause
fine.
you can look it up if you wanted to. But
Basically, a guy has a wife who's like starts to peek around corners, and that Misery's a good one. And then it starts with
I don't know
furniture.
that one.
Also, reading the story reignited my fear of this. I consistently have this where I'm like you know that was mesmerizing. I'm thankful I wasn't there. Great ending for them. Thank you. But I constantly like have a. It's not like a sleep paralysis because I'm not asleep. I'm fully awake. ADHD paralysis demon. Um, he's not really a demon. He's just like a chill guy. But it does feel like things are peering around corners at me, and I convince myself that there's someone in my home, and I constantly like have to brace myself to look. So now that I've read that fun story,
You can always get the smiley one now.
great.
Yeah, I like horror movies. I think I was
Love
telling
'em.
Nana earlier, like it's not really for me. The stories aren't like, or sorry, the movies aren't scary per se. They mess me up sometimes, but they're not scary. Whereas like the stories, I'm imagining it in my head. I'm making the story up, so I'm
Mhm.
connecting it to my life, which is not obviously that's dangerous. So that's what scares me the most. Not specific. That's why I say the ones that are like realistic to life. That's
Yeah.
what scares me.
Well, and it's the ones where like you're literally you are the one picturing every detail and you're like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
this could happen in my home right now." You watch Smile 2 too? Haha, 2.
Tutu. Yes.
Yeah, it was a
Smile
lot
2
of
was
blood.
a lot of blood. It was good. Like there were some
It
scary
was
parts,
good.
good jump
Oh,
scares.
the naked guy?
Which one was that?
In the hallway.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was super weird.
If you haven't watched
Mm,
Smile 2 and you like it's not even thriller. It's just straight up slasher film. But like if it's like it's thriller but it is slasher. But if you like
yeah.
that style, go watch it. It's good. Is good.
It's good.
But
Very
it's
good.
like it's you got to like prep for that shit. Like I guess I forgot about how much blood there was. And like within the first 2 scenes I was like, what's happening? I've met my
Instant.
quota.
Yeah. It was bad. It
So,
was very bloody. But yeah.
yeah.
Overall, I think the final actually, you know what? I'm going to probably make a hot take here. The second story, the tapping one, that got me more messed up.
The window,
Yeah. That
my
one
first
messed me
story.
up good. Yeah.
You know what it
Yeah.
is? It was just short enough. Because when
I
they're
think
too
you're
long,
right.
you lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. it was like the first. I think you're right because the first like half of that I had full body chills where she
Mhm.
was just peeking around corners, doing
Yeah,
weird
it got
things.
when
Like that
yeah.
was weird. But when he
Mhm.
started going to like when he started talking to people and starting to like get into
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, that's when it messed me. That's when I was like,
Ooh.
all right, that's cool, whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know what else another scary movie would be, but
Misery's
I
good. The
definitely
Shining's good.
Shining's a solid
Um,
one.
Unfriended was good. What other horror
Yeah.
movies have we seen together? The Meg we saw together.
The Meg was that was
It
kind of
was
scary.
fine.
I'm not
Yeah, it
a
was fine.
I'm not a like I think 47 meters down was more
That
scary.
was worse. Yeah, that
I'm
that
not a
was a
big
lot for my
the
brain.
one. That one was pretty scary.
We never figured out what that was called, I think.
No, I don't think we did either, but it's okay.
No, I gotta know.
Yeah, that one was good. I mean, it was a
Underwater.
good one. Underwater.
Ooh, Naked Grandma.
Naked Grandma.
Naked
It was a solid
Grandma.
one.
So can I tell you a little story about it?
Sure.
So I wanted to show my mom. We rented it, the first one, on like a Redbox DVD one night, and it was all scratched up. But
course.
I wanted to show my mom and sister, and I think I'm remembering this correctly. So you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it kept buffering. And I kept saying, "Oh, this is the really good part where they do blah blah blah," but they hadn't seen it yet, so I was just spoiling the movie every
Jeez.
time that I talked, and
I'd have kicked you out of the room.
yeah, mom told me to stop. I still think about that now when I watch movies with the kids where I'm like, good part, you should be paying attention. Because I want them to watch it, but I'm like, this is the good part, guys, come on. And they're like
Right.
talking through it. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
as
There's a
kids
lot
do.
of, we've seen so many horror movies.
We really do. Like, that tends to be our go-to.
Carrie is good.
I never got into Carrie.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. What movie did I do for our movie night?
Which
You have
one?
your ticket. The movie night that I made us where I made you guys tickets and popcorn at the apartment.
That was Carrie, I'm pretty sure. I
That was Carrie?
watched it, yeah.
I thought
But
we
I
watched
didn't
something different.
No, that one was Carrie.
Hmm.
I watched it and I liked it. It just wasn't like my favorite. Wasn't as scary, but I think that's because it was like more older.
What are the top 5 horror movies? These are the bad lists.
You know what's one that's not really a horror movie, but it's just one that's gonna it's like a psychological like F show basically. It's called Eraserhead. That one messes you up.
I've never fully gotten through.
Oh, mom's right. Final Destinations. Those
shit. Eraserhead, like the 1977 horror?
That one messed me up. I watched that my freshman year at college. Oh my gosh, we had to do a write-up. Huh?
Wild thing to watch freshman year of college.
Well, it was for an assignment.
Huh. I've never seen this.
I had to do a write-up on it, and I literally in my write-up I said, "What a mind fuck." Like, I just flat out to my professor. I got a good grade on it, so
There you go.
Yeah, Final Destination movies, those messed me up.
Yeah, those are messy. I'm looking at the 25 best horror movies of all time on IGN, which I trust. It's a reliable website with lots of ads. Scream is number 25. Oddly enough, number 24, Nosferatu. What an odd one to have on there. Followed closely by The Blair Witch Project, of course. And then Dracula, 1931.
You know what else messed me up when I was a kid?
What?
Do you remember the episode of the hash slinging slasher for SpongeBob?
Do I remember the hash slinging slasher? Dude, what am I?
That tripped me out.
So, I got a bone to pick. Actually, I don't have a bone. It's my own damn fault. My mom just brought up Hellraiser. I still, to this day, have not watched Hellraiser the whole way through because of the trauma I endured as a wee lass when I begged my mom to watch Hellraiser because it said the word hell, and I wanted to watch a movie where I could say hell, and I begged and begged and begged, and then I cried because it was too scary for me.
That's similar to my Final Destination experience.
My mom's favorite. I don't like
didn't beg
Final
for it, though.
Destination. I don't like Final Destination.
No,
It
'cause
stresses
it's
me out.
semi-realistic. Like some of those things
Ugh.
could actually happen. That's why I don't like it. But yeah.
I want to
but
know
yeah.
what the number one movie is according to this website. The Shining, number
Fair.
one. The
That's a classic.
Exorcist.
Oh.
You seen the original?
The Conjuring is another one. Annabelle.
Hmm.
I
Not big on
I never saw
Annabelle.
The Nun. Annabelle? You
The
didn't?
Babadook. That's a good one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I scared my mom watching The Babadook. That was a good one. I like that one.
Dang. The
I'm waiting for
the Grudge?
The Grudge.
Yeah.
The,
My sister.
The
So, yeah, that one, yeah.
yeah.
Dad
I used to have
and
that
Dara.
down pack.
Yeah, Dad and Dara watched that one night when we all went to bed.
I remember
then
this.
Riley heard the sound. We were all
Yep.
sleeping, but for the next couple of nights, what Riley would do is she'd walk to their room and she'd like have her hair all messy, and she had like long black hair,
Ugh.
and she
Yep.
usually wore like nightgowns, and
Yep.
she'd stand by Dad's side of the bed and just next to the bed, and
Yeah.
like I'm surprised she didn't end up getting punched. Like Dad, like when he wakes up from sleep, he wakes up with like a
A bone to pick with the world.
Yeah. But when like with that, oh my gosh.
I'm
Holy.
getting live chatted with my mom right now in our group chat, by the way. You could just comment on the thing. She said Nose Hustling Slasher is a favorite. Babadook is scary till the end and then it just gets goofy, which is so fair. So many horror movies do that. Yeah, he ran out of the room. I too would run. I watched.
Not
I
only did I
watched-
run out of the room, I ran upstairs and screamed down the stairs
Oh.
that I wanted to go to Dad's because I was scared.
Hmm.
I was a crybaby is what I was.
Was?
I should have just went to you shut your mouth. That is so rude.
So I watched The Grudge when I was in like elementary school at a friend's house, and we were turning like 11, and it was a big deal. We were gonna watch The Grudge,
Yeah.
and we watched it, and I was like, okay, I can do this, and we watched and watched and watched, and then I just started like getting very panicky, and then for a while after that, whenever we would go swimming anywhere, I'd flip my hair over and I'd just follow people in the pool going, and I did that to my friend Jackie at one point, and I got slapped.
Fair. That's
She
a
did
fair
not like
response.
waking up to The Grudge. That was
Yeah,
a
no,
fun
that's
one. That was a
I'd
good
probably
one.
clock you. I'm surprised you
Mm.
never tried that.
No,
when we
because
were
I
together.
genuinely forgot about it until this moment.
I also locked my door,
Oh,
so like
Jaws.
you couldn't have. Jaws is a good one. I wouldn't say
Jaws
it's scary though. Like
I gotta
that's
tell
one
you, though,
ocean one that I wouldn't be that scared of.
I gotta tell you though, at 10 years old,
Yeah, that's fair.
it's
I'm sure
it's a little
when it
frightening.
first came out too, it was like
Yeah,
up there.
yeah. Silence of the Lambs. Oh, that's a good one.
I don't
Puts the
remember if I've seen
lotion
that or
on
not.
its skin
Oh,
before
yeah, I
it
haven't
gets
seen
the
that one
hose
yet.
again.
All
The
right, let's.
fava or the for the fava beans. Clarice. We gotta watch that together then. Fucking lame. Evil Dead 2. I disagree. Night of the Living
All
Dead.
right, let's close this out, and so both of us
Ooh.
can actually get some
Texas
sleep
Chainsaw
tonight.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Live and in person, folks. This is where the quality content is. So you guys can find me over at Esmonstone. And I will be not sleeping tonight, so hit me up, I guess.
No. Hugging Wallace.
I just moved and my lamp came more into view, and that scared the crap right out of me.
I keep seeing them. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because it's not just quiet. I'm like dead alone, and then Connor and his mom are getting back at like 1 a.m. So I'm gonna be like just falling asleep, and they're gonna come in, and I'm gonna be like, oh, please
don't smile at me.
Please don't peek at me. I hope he doesn't
All right.
watch this and hear that story, because he's gonna do that.
You can find the show at TSK1239
Nope.
on
Nope.
That's me. You can find me there.
There you go.
But you can find the show at No Impulse Control on TikTok and on Instagram. Again, don't forget to go check out the merch. Trying to talk faster than my brain's processing. And you can find me at TSK1239 or the Soccer King 1239 on most socials. And if you really enjoyed this, which I enjoyed this.
I had a lot of
actually.
fun with this, actually.
I think we could make this more of a more
Once a month.
common thing, maybe a once a month thing. and go from there. But I enjoyed
Thanksgiving
this.
episode at Thanksgiving.
Maybe
Just
we'll see
turn the camera
what's going on. You can't find me peering around the closet. Please no.
What was it?
He said, and you can find me peering around around the closets and under beds.
Hey, look, I'm not saying I'm sleeping with a kitchen knife tonight, but I'm not sleeping with one. I'm just gonna put that out there. I toss too much for that shit.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
dangerous.
slice myself.
But yeah,
Anyway.
so you can find me at those places. I think this would be a cool thing to do a couple times, you know, once a month or whatever. And I want you guys to comment that on the next videos or on this video if you're rewatching. But we do appreciate you guys showing up. At one point, I saw that we had 10 people in, which is so awesome. We
That's
hit
so
double digits,
cool.
which is so cool.
Yay! Oh wait!
Oh
Wait!
my
Keep talking.
gosh. Are you
No,
kidding me?
hold on. No, I
know
got
what
it.
you're doing. Let me know if you ever.
That was the long one. I'm so sorry. This is the.
Yeah. You know, Mr. B, you're right. I just can't read, as we saw tonight. He said not peering around, so he won't be doing it.
Ah, I see. I missed the knot. Night,
Yeah,
Nana.
but Night Nana, he also did offer up Joys of Teaching. So, you know, maybe we'll see what we got.
Ooh.
But yeah,
You have joys?
we will see you in the next video, potentially Sunday.
That's cool. Y'all don't even need to know where to find me, apparently.
We already did you. You were
We
first.
didn't.
You said you can find me at Asminster and then moved on.
I have other things. I got a whole spiel.
All right,
it's
Jasmine,
fine.
where can they find you?
You know what? We're done. End this.
You know
I'm
what?
done.
They can find you at Asminster 1231729. I don't know what it is, but look up Asminster.
1721. Get it right.
Yeah, there you go. 1721. Either way, we'll see you in the next
I stream
time
occasionally,
you see
and I'm
us.
going to do it more often. That's what I was going to say. Thank you, those of you who have joined me on stream.
We appreciate you all, and have a great rest of your night. Peace
Bye, guys.
out.
Happy Halloween. Okay, we got to end this. We're still live.
I already did. You're good.
Okay. It was really fun.
That was fun. I'm taking
The
a